Yeah, dude. And like, funny enough, it seems like every time we take a break from doing this,
the world goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, it goes crazy. And then like, there's been tons of topics that of things that have happened. Nothing comes off the top of my head, but like, where like I'm like, oh, I want to talk about that, and then we just don't. Because like something else replaced it, and we're like, "Oh my god!" We talk about something else, or like we just have a guest on and we just completely forget about what's happening in the world, and
Yeah, I mean, when we have guests on, we're trying to talk about like their story, what they, what they're doing.
Yeah, but
if they want to bring up anything, then by all means.
Yeah, if they stick it out long enough to be able to like bring stuff up, but yeah. So with that being said, dude. Tons. What did I say I wanted to? So we were going to start out with that was like kind of soft. It was, the Subtropolis was kind of a neat thing.
That was I don't know if that was what you specifically wanted to start.
Oh,
with,
you know what it was? It was earthquakes. So that's what
California earthquakes.
Yeah. So but I will just bring up the Subtropolis. So there's can you just Google that real quick, because you're gonna want to see it. So there's a entire like building complex for like business people to do work underground. It's like, so look at that second picture.
Give me a second here.
Yeah, like that's crazy. And so like all kinds of companies do work in these buildings, and obviously it's it's been around forever, I think.
Okay, yeah. So it was formerly a limestone mine, and I guess they got everything they needed out of it and decided to turn it into some kind of underground complex. I know Ford actually stored a bunch of cars underground for a while as well.
And that's what I was going to say. So the one thing that stuck out was that like way back in the day, like this, I think like the 70s or 80s, Ford was storing cars down there. I think still to this day, like
I think they still do store cars there, actually.
Yeah. But I think all of the Disney like footage, the actual like reels of film are all stored down there. Like it's a big thing is like it's storage. There's a lot of data centers and stuff down there because it's always 65 degrees, like constantly. So yeah, I don't know. I just stumbled upon it on a reel, and I was like, that's kind of neat. I don't know if anybody else knew about Subtropolis. So yeah, it's just cool. There's all kinds of like things, and it's Kansas
City, Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun. But speaking of places, so yeah, California.
Well, that was a hell of a transition.
It's a hell of a transition. We're in here.
Speaking of places that exist, California.
Yeah, speaking of, really forced that one, didn't I? So off of this, so California just had a 7 magnitude earthquake, which like it seems nuts to me, but I've got weird feeling or like mixed feelings because I think that most people are kind of used to that.
Yeah,
I mean, 7's still a 7 is a 7.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they get tons of like 2.0, 3.0. I think the biggest one we've had local to us was like maybe a 4.0.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I don't know, the like as I was watching the videos, and I know that you saw some like similar footage as well, but like all I could think about is like from all these videos, like it seems extreme, but like no one's reaction's really that like crazy. And I all I could think about is like just, and I'm sorry, like I'm gonna talk some shit on Californians, but like I feel like most of them are like just rich people, and I'm just like these I don't know, like just people just dying from all the shit that they have falling on them is like I don't know. I just it just seemed ridiculous to just like see all these people's shit just falling, and they're like, like I don't know. It just.
I mean, they're used to, like I said, they're used to much lower magnitude earthquakes. So it probably starts off like, another one. Oh, this one's real bad.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And versus if you've never like been in an earthquake prone area and the ground just starts violently shaking, that's gonna freak you out. But like, it's kind of like the boiled frog thing.
Yeah.
Where you boil it slowly, it doesn't realize it's boiling. You saw these tiny earthquakes, and it just kind of gets worse, and you're like, oh, this one's real bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you've like bought anything new, but like all the new like dressers and like not shelves, I guess, but I guess like if a shelf is on the floor, they have like cables that you can tie into the wall so they won't knock over. Like even if you have kids and a kid tries to crawl up it.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a while, and I think most of it is for child safety.
Yeah. But
I imagine
thought
they're
about
fans
this.
of that.
Yeah, like because that is a real thing. Like, if your bed's kind of close to a dresser or like a big mirror on the back of your wall, it's like that's kind of scary.
I remember, back when we were kids, didn't your mom have like a mirror right above her bed?
Yeah. No, that was in the living room.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was on the side of where the person's house that was next to us, like in the townhouse, that was their steps.
Yeah.
So like that wall definitely felt the vibration of people stomping up the steps.
I just remembered. Do you remember when we were kids and we were playing dodgeball next to your house and I beamed the ball?
Yes.
You dodged it or someone dodged it and I hit the wall and we just heard a crash.
Yeah.
We're like, oh! And we go inside. And of course, the only thing that I managed to knock off of that wall was a portrait of Jesus Christ.
Yep. Yes. You knocked down the Jesus.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
That was locked in when I was like 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting to the gates of heaven, he's gonna be like, just showing you like the footage of it all happening. You're just like, really? Like that? All the things?
Of all the things that I've done and said, that's what did it?
That was it? And he's like, I'm sorry. You got to go to hell.
Them's the rules.
Yeah. You get the hell. We're all at the bar. We're like, hey. I love that joke. I would always say that like if I went to heaven, I'd be bored. I wouldn't know anybody there. All my friends are going to be in hell, like sitting at the bar.
I kind of commandeered a backpack from Fluff that it's just a plain black backpack, but on the back it says, "Going to hell with all my friends."
Yeah.
Speaking of people who belong in hell, so we had a real high-profile case of vigilante justice recently.
Yeah, kind of nuts. Have you seen that movie V for Vendetta?
Mm-hmm. Or what was the other movie? That'll come back to me. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Keep going. If I remember it, I'll remember it.
Well, I don't know. Like it's a really good movie, V for Vendetta, and like when like this kind of vigilante stuff takes place.
You get wronged by the system enough, and
and it's like whoa. And obviously, like the death of anybody, terrible thing, but also at the same time, I'm like, is this like the system kind of working itself out? Like, because to be honest, we know that like the insurance system that we have, I would say like a healthcare system, America, greatest country in the world, and like this is why we don't have free healthcare. Like I get it.
Yeah, we joke about that.
We joke about it all the time. Yeah, but so like I get it that it's a difficult thing and heavily argumented over whether or not you can have free healthcare. But
what
all that being aside, like even if it's like if it's not free, like fine. Like the very least that they could do is like just make it easy to pay. Like, and instead everyone has got a story or a situation where the insurance company tried to fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I've had it myself.
Yeah. Like, and what's even crazier is that then you find out that there's companies that have been developed to help you navigate the intricacies of the health insurance companies themselves, because it's so difficult to figure out. You need someone else that has like dedicated their lives and made a career.
Oh, you mean like our tax system?
Sure, exactly. Yes, actually, yeah, exactly like our tax system. Yeah, so so the whole thing is just fucking crazy. So we don't want to condone anybody doing things like this, obviously, but at the same time, it's like, is this the natural selection?
I don't really feel that bad about it.
It's like. And
I mean, I kind of do.
Who knows? Like, and
this guy
this guy may not have actually even had that much of a hand in exactly how the company's going. But I mean, dude, you're the CEO.
You have a hand.
Yeah, and allegedly they're one of the highest deniers of claims.
No, they actually are.
Yeah,
they are among the worst.
Yeah.
So they were recently outed for using an AI program that will give out faulty denials, and in most cases 90% of the denials were faulty denials that should have been covered, and they were like, yeah, we're not going to fix that because most people don't appeal.
Yeah,
like 0.0 something% of people actually appeal when they get denied.
Yeah.
So they knew that their AI system was faulty. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, brother.
If it was purposefully faulty, like they
Yeah.
were just like that, it wasn't even faulty. It was designed that way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah.
But regardless, they elected not to fix it because they knew no one would appeal it.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's fucking complicated and it takes forever. And the whole time you're going to have, the hospital and collection agencies or whatever breathing down your neck for your money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, just because, the insurance company fucks something up doesn't mean that, like, whoever that provider that's owed money isn't going to be, like, still knocking at your door to be, like, sending you bills, and, and there's always, like, scary verbiage on it that, like, increases the payment over time if you don't pay. And then trying to get in contact with those people can be difficult as well, and then you talk to one person and then it's like just this trust system that they did it right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been through it myself when I crashed my bike. And I had to deal with health insurance, finding out that the ambulance that I had no say in, like, which ambulance is going to come pick me up is out of network.
Yeah.
So there's $3,000 right there. Yeah. And then, like, my health insurance did pay the bulk of it. I still had like a couple $1,000s in like deductibles or whatever that I had to pay.
Yeah.
And then after I thought it was all said and done, like this is a month after like everything had been paid off, I get another letter saying, we've reviewed your case and decided that we're also not responsible for X, Y, and Z. You now owe another $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Like
this was done.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are we waiting until now to have this like third discussion? Yeah, dude. So that's the other thing, man, is that I believe it's the number one cause for like for debt or bankruptcy. I think it's bankruptcy is medical bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
The other thing is, again, touching back on what you said about like how we joke about like, we're going to show you why we don't have free healthcare, blah, blah, this, that, and the other. I've seen on several occasions, I haven't verified it myself, but the U.S. government spends more on healthcare per citizen than these other countries that have free universal healthcare. Now, universal healthcare has its own fucking problems, and we've talked about this in person. I don't know if we ever talked about it on the podcast, but like
maybe. But like, I mean, you can't have a system that big and it's not going to move quickly.
Yeah,
it's not going to be a good system.
Yeah, so it has its own issues, but for like the day-to-day shit, like if we were in a universal healthcare country, when I broke my fucking collarbone crashing my bike, that would have been an in and out, and I wouldn't have paid a dime.
Yeah,
and that's. The vast majority of hospital visits are day-to-day quick shit like that. A broken bone or a weird sickness that requires like antibiotics that had to be diagnosed and prescribed from a hospital. Shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And are you saying that is the way that most free healthcare works? Is that it's like it's not free all the way up the ladder? It's mostly just free. Well, no,
it is free all the way up the ladder. But when you get to the complicated shit like cancer treatments, rare diseases, and organ transplants, because it's open to everyone and money doesn't act as a gatekeeper, the lines are a lot longer.
Yeah,
to the point where people die.
Oh, okay. So even in those cases, it is free. Okay, I got you. So like there is no ceiling to it.
No.
Okay.
But you're like 150th in line and you got 30 days to live without this surgery.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's fucked. And that's why like I think that the like almost everything that I can ever think of, it's the correct answer is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
like if there was like
the reason that like people will leave those countries and come to the US for this complicated life-saving surgery is because they have the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the difference is people over there die because they're stuck in, waiting purgatory. People over here die because they can't afford it.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, but also think about this. Like, I think like it kind of goes hand in hand. So, because if you are in another country and you do want to come to America to get a surgery that you need to live, like just flying, leaving your job, flying, and then, colonizing for however long it takes for you to just kind of like be like, get an apartment, get a place to live.
You don't need to do that to get health, like not insurance health care, but like to get medical care here. You just need the money.
Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Because, well, cause the way I'm thinking about it is that like you would need to obtain health insurance is like what I would how I was looking at it. You know,
Oh no, if you're coming to America for this surgery, you can afford it.
yeah, you've already got the cash. But I guess, but still to that point, I guess it's still like, you know,
Or you're taking out a loan.
yeah,
And
okay,
sinking yourself into debt anyway.
sure, yeah. But then, like, you
But
know,
again,
it's
the
also who's going to give you a
the
loan?
hospital doesn't care. Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
the hospital doesn't care as long as they're getting their money.
Yeah. Imagine if I was like, hey, I might die. Can I have $200,000? I'm good for it. You're like, are you sure? Because you might not be here around to pay me back. Like,
Yeah. I don't know the intricacies of it because I'm neither rich nor sick enough to have gone through any of that. But
Yeah.
you come to America and you have the money, you're getting your health care.
yeah. No, that makes sense. And I guess, like, there is, like, no way, the other way to do it. You know, like you said, if it's that serious, then, you know, that's what you're doing, or you're dying.
So again, do you want to die because you're waiting in line, or do you want to die because you're dirt poor? Pick your poison.
Yeah.
So neither system's great.
No.
But when it comes to like 90% of healthcare needs, universal healthcare probably does it a bit better.
So exactly, yeah. But what's your perspective on, like, if you had insurance and you did need, like, a heart transplant? I don't know.
Oh, here?
Yeah. I mean, like, I wonder how far insurance would go.
there's we also have waiting lists for like organ transplants because not everyone's an organ donor and there's not enough to go around.
Yeah.
And also there's compatibility.
All right, so then, yeah, it's a bad example, but I wonder. I guess my point is, like, I just, you know,
But again,
it's a silly question because, like, we're just saying how shitty the healthcare system is, and neither one of us have ever had to, like, climb the ladder that far into the insurance to get them to, like, really fork over, like, thousands and thousands of dollars. And I would imagine from just the couple $1,000s that it took for you, and then they came back and were like, no, we need another $1,000.
oh yeah,
that,
you're
like,
probably
that's,
dealing with that shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I don't doubt that your insurance would cover the bulk of it, but they'd still try to weasel out
Yeah.
as much as possible. And that, depending on your financial state, that could be enough to cripple you.
Yeah. Like, if you're lucky, you get to pay 30%.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you're paying $30,000 out of the $300,000 surgery you just had.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but I don't just have $30,000.
No. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why, like, most people who go bankrupt, it's because of their medical bills, you know? Yeah, man, it's sad. And
Yeah, the only way to fix that would be to have like universal health care and then have an abundance of doctors and hospitals and all the equipment and medical supplies to staff that.
Yeah. I know, and I wonder where the like the medical field is. I know, like, when the old vid was going on, there was a lot of nurses and doctors that were quitting, whether it was because of, like, the vaccine mandates or, you know, even just the fact that, like, if people were quitting or they were getting sick, even though they were just getting sick,
Yeah,
and then
there were tons that
work.
were getting sick. There were tons that were quitting because they were just being asked to do the impossible.
Yeah,
and,
because there's short staff now.
Yeah, you can't stand up to that. Like, you can be the greatest person in the world, you're gonna burn out eventually.
Yeah, and it's always been a job where, like, you know, you have to work 12-hour days all the time.
It's always been a fucking hell of a job. That's why the medical field gets paid the way it does.
Yeah, and then you see people your age on OnlyFans making fucking six figures, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Or,
Like, I'm holding this guy's heart.
Cookie guy.
Yeah. Dude, the double chunk with the Costco guys.
We're Costco
Fuck.
guys.
Dude, that shit's so cringy.
Yeah, and it's working for them, and I hate that society's gotten to a point where it allowed them to be successful.
I know. Me too. I hate it. I mean, like, I love that
I think Colin
we have.
likes it.
I'm sure. Yeah, 'cause he loves the cringy stuff, and I guess I think everybody likes a little bit of cringe, as much as you can stand, you know. But there
I
is
have a low tolerance for it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's kind of like going to the zoo. You know,
I don't think
you
the
get
zoo's
to just
cringy.
look at. Yeah, but, like, you wouldn't want to be there, like,
Yeah,
where
but
those
I know
animals
that
really are.
I know that the person being cringy should know better.
Yeah, I know. All right, bad example, but I just feel like with the zoo, I like to go, but, like, I don't want to go where they are. Like, I would just want to, and, like, I also hate zoos, but, like, I don't want to go where they are, you know. But you just kind of go in, you peek your head, you're like, cool. All right, I'm done with all that. Yeah. That's just as far as cringe. Now, as far as the Costco guys, it does seem weird. Just any kind of dichotomy where like your dad, like you're a child and your dad is like managing this social media thing. Like you can see that like you saw that video where they're like it was like an uncut like raw video and he's like no like say it like this. He's like oh what? No, you're supposed to say this, and like he's like directing this little reel about like this guy in front of them who's trying to decide between a fucking chicken bake and a cookie. And it's like, just let it play out how it is. But he's like, no, we have to say this, and then you say this, and then
You're telling me it's scripted?
Yeah.
That's not all natural?
Okay, yeah. That's because, like, that's the thing is that people would, like, you know, they probably, like, you would think, like, yeah, they probably talked about what they were going to do, and then they just kind of went for it, you know, is how, like, most people would who don't look too far into it and just see one of the Costco guy videos, and they're like, oh, okay. Like,
see,
this
that's
is
why
cute,
Vine,
father and son.
That's why Vine was a superior short form content thing, because all of that was like, I mean, I'm sure it might have been like rehearsed, but you could tell it was done in like a take.
Yeah,
they're just
or even if it was like rehearsed, it's still. I think it just made good comedy because you had to do it in 15 seconds. 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot.
Anyway, we're getting off topic.
But I love it.
Yeah, so Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO who was gunned down.
Yes.
Have you heard...
Murder or assassination? What do you think?
Well, the difference is one would be... the difference, I think, is like motivation.
Yeah.
So this is probably an assassination.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at. Because, like, you saw the security footage of like when he was in his hostel that he was staying at in New York City, and he like pulled his mask down to mac on a chick.
That's not him.
That's what they're going off.
Yeah,
of.
That's what the police are saying. But you know, this is the same police that take like 3 hours to show up to someone calling about an armed robbery in New York. Like I don't trust them for a second.
Yeah. But if you're a $10 million a year CEO for healthcare, then it makes headlines.
So my favorite theory that I've been seeing is it's the cops grasping at straws to appear not incompetent.
Yeah.
Because if you look, the jacket's
probably
different.
Always do
the
that.
backpack's different. That's not the same.
You know, I thought the same thing. I think that he's wearing like more of a green.
It's greener and it's got big ass pockets on the chest.
Yeah.
The other guys did not have. He didn't have any pockets. I'm not going to count the color.
Oh, there is front footage.
Yeah, I'm not going to count the color because the footage of the assassination is grainy as fuck.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things going on there.
Sure.
First of all, have you heard the
details? Let's bring it in.
Let's get ready.
We're getting spicy. All right.
But have you heard like the details on this guy's entire like this wasn't just a oh shit that's him pop. Like, this guy planned this shit. This was meticulous.
Well, it definitely seemed that way. I mean, to be there at the time.
Do you know
of that,
any of the details?
I think I know a good amount of details of like why Brian Thompson was there.
No. This guy used a fake ID.
Yeah.
And took a bus.
Yeah.
From Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Paid in cash.
Yeah.
And he knew like all of the well, not all of it. He knew that like Central Park was like a blind spot in all like the security cameras and shit. So he has the fake ID. He uses cash to get out to get up here. He does the assassination, walks off into Central Park where it's likely because there's no cameras. He changed his fucking clothes, and then disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Like they say, if they don't find him within 48 hours, it becomes exponentially hard. This guy's gone.
Yeah.
He got away with it.
Yeah.
I think there's a thing of like police incompetence here because they're showing a picture of someone who is obviously not the guy.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they're saying that he's using a either an actual World War II well rod suppressed pistol, internally suppressed pistol, which is extremely rare, or he's using a modern recreation of it, which is also pretty rare. Like that's not it's not like a Glock.
It looked like a very like long suppressor on the front.
Yeah,
like, from the
he obviously had
like
a suppressor on there.
Yeah, it was a spin on. Yeah.
He obviously had a suppressor, but they were saying that it was a well rod because that's a bolt action pistol. You have to like cock it, pull it, and then put it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
No, what he was using, and anyone who knows anything about guns, and this also shows that, like, to the people who say only police should have guns, police don't know shit about guns.
Yeah.
They barely know the basics of gun safety. If you look at all the times they've shot themselves holstering their gun.
Yeah. So what kind of problems do we get when we put a suppressor onto a pistol?
It's not necessarily the issue with the suppressor. It's he was likely using subsonic rounds, which have less powder in them, so they go slower, so they don't break the sound barrier, so they're a lot quieter. You look at Hollywood and you see suppressed weapons like pshh, pshh.
Mm-hmm.
The closest you can get to that in real life, and even then it's significantly louder, is using subsonic rounds.
Yeah.
Tip standard ammunition with a suppressor, you still need hearing protection. You will damage your hearing. That's how loud they are.
Yeah.
Even with a silencer.
Yeah.
So
full disclosure, I've used subsonic 22 rounds. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing with subsonic rounds is they go slower. They have less powder.
Mm-hmm.
They can't cycle the gun reliably a lot of times unless you have a gun that's made or been customized to handle that. Like my AK, I put a
gas block.
I have an adjustable gas piston. So by default, AKs tend to be overgassed, so they can usually handle subsonics and still cycle.
Yeah.
But if you put a suppressor on there, that also raises back pressure and puts more pressure on the gun. So my adjustable gas piston lets me tune that gas system. Right. So if I did put a suppressor on there, it wouldn't be beating the hell out of my gun.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that was my more of the assumption was that.
But no, if you watch the video,
the
he's cocking it every time. That's why they're like, oh, it's got to be a well rod. It's got this big ass suppressor, and he's cocking it every time. It's like, no, he's using a standard handgun that can't cycle subsonic, so he's cycling the slide. And you can see when he shoots, if you slow down the footage and look real close, you see something coming out over his hand. That's the slide trying to cycle.
Yeah.
Well rods are bolt action.
Yeah.
They don't cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I'm sure it was a Glock or something.
It's just a handgun handgun.
Yeah.
With a threaded barrel.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my assumption from it because they said that there was 6 rounds, which we should get to as well. There's 6 rounds that were found on the scene, 3 of them being live. So it wasn't that like he was like racking and then firing. It seemed like he like you said,
definitely like it jamming.
It was
half short cycling. Live
not
round
ejecting.
Gets stuck. He cycles it, ejects the live round, fires shot. Because if you look at the video, you only see 3 shots go off, and there are 6 rounds.
Yeah,
that was it.
But I had just made the assumption that like the suppressor, it was like like on his way or somewhere, bought a gun, bought a suppressor, and probably never tried it. And like if it's not
if you look, he had 0 hesitation racking that and firing the next shot. Like he didn't go he was just,
yeah.
So this is a guy who knows his guns.
I was gonna say, it still may have caught him by surprise, and it was like, oh shit, shouldn't have thought of that.
Tap rack.
yeah. What's your take on the lady that was standing right there, watching the whole thing go down?
I think she reacted like a normal human being. You see someone getting gunned down, you don't get involved. You leave.
Not that. I mean, like his decision to do it right in front of her.
Oh. This is a man who probably had a plan to escape but had nothing to lose and didn't care if he got caught. He did his thing, was like, I'm going to try to get away. If not, so be it.
I don't know. I think that it seemed, I mean, if I had to guess from all the movies I've watched, I would say it was probably just bad time, bad place, and he was probably running out. I haven't seen the street and exactly where he was going to see if there was another time, but I think my main point, I guess, is that like this was 7 o'clock in the morning in New York City, so like he did right in front of her, and like my first thing was I was like, what the fuck? Like how you have a witness? Like what do you mean he's a professional? But also I'm like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Like that's the best possible scenario is that there's only one, and then maybe like that cab driver that was on the side, like right next to where he shot him, like he saw the guy, and like he couldn't see his face, of course, was covered, but like he was like, he sees him walk in front of his van, the taxi.
And
van.
if you notice, he didn't run after.
Yeah, I mean he kind of jogged off. He jogged off.
He jogged across the street.
Yeah, jogged
and then he was walking.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the guy running. You know what? I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but I've always joked, I mean, like the people who are running are runners. Like, if I was going to... Like, you could just dress up like a jogger, right? And you're just like, I'm just on my morning run. Like, you've already ditched, all this stuff, and you're just like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've thought about how I could get away with something like this.
Yeah, dude, when you watch a movie and you're like, dude, I wouldn't have done it that way. He's an idiot. I would have done it this way. Everybody has that
Well,
thought.
no, even especially seeing this happen in real life. It's like,
Sure.
how did he get away with that? How would I have done that?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, especially if you had a second person
Yeah.
waiting in Central Park to, like, swap backpacks and all that shit.
Yeah.
So even if you did get, like, caught by cops,
It's the wrong guy.
yeah, I don't have anything on.
Yeah.
You go to Central Park where there's no cameras, you change, you swap backpacks with someone who doesn't look anything like you, so they're not even on the radar.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, the other thing, too, is that,
We
like...
probably shouldn't be talking about this.
Why?
Giving people ideas.
I think that I feel like out of all the things you can talk about, that's probably one of the things that, like, is talked about a lot, Like, you would think that this would be
How
something...
to get away with murder?
Yeah. I mean, OJ wrote a whole book. He's fine.
Well, I mean, he's no longer with us.
True. I forgot about that. Damn. Well, anyway, he lived a long life after writing a book. I'm surprised that, like, he didn't... I wonder what his last words were.
I mean, technically...
I did it!
Technically, wouldn't that be double jeopardy? Like, wouldn't he be scot-free?
Yeah, I think that's... Oh, you know what? That's probably why he wrote the book. I think that's why he wrote the book. Yeah. Damn. What a thing that is. Well, anyway, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I've definitely, heard people, talk about, like, yeah, you're right. We probably shouldn't talk about this. But other people have talked about it in the sense where they've been like, hey, like, if you really wanted to, like, release a disease into the world, like, this is how you
I've
would
played
do
Plague
it.
Inc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's shit like that, and and like when people talk about, like, when there's, like, stabbings in like train stations,
Yeah, just
like subway
wear a glove,
stations.
stab the guy, leave the knife in him, walk away.
Well, true. Yeah. Like for assassination type, but there's, like, mass stabbings where, like, people just, like, they're, like, 6 guys just walk through and they're just, like, killing people, and everybody's all jam packed and they're just like, what's happened to that guy? Oh my God, he's bleeding. Hey, he's bleeding. You're like, I'm bleeding. Yeah, which is not funny. It's really not funny. But if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So have a fucking stiff upper lip. All right. Anyway, so
Jesus Christ.
yeah, I mean, look, these are, like, real things, and it's kind of one of those things too where it's like, if you don't talk about it, then people aren't really aware. You know?
We're not just gonna ignore reality because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not, like, giving people ideas, but, like, we should really be, like, arming people with knowledge to be like, hey, like, you're not safe anywhere you go.
Hey, look, this
You
is
have
the
to-
name of the United of the Blue Cross Blue Shield anthem. CEO.
Yeah, I mean, do you see people were, like, singing in the streets and, like, people were, like, pumped on this? It's like, geez, take it
Yeah,
easy.
no, this guy is a modern day
Like,
Robin Hood.
yeah.
In terms of, like, status and folklore.
Yeah. That's like,
And I
mean,
get it. That's the thing. I get it.
I know, but it, like, I mean, it feels weird to be singing in praise. That's all. Like, I would say that.
I saw something online because I am terminally online. But someone was talking about, like, it does exactly what you're saying. Like, should we be celebrating the death of somebody who,
A human being.
a human being, awful person or not, having having a hand in this shit or not? Should we be singing their praise? Because the facts are, the death of tens of thousands, if not more, people are on the hands of United Healthcare as a company.
Yeah.
Just due to denials of
Yep.
life critical care.
Yeah.
And this guy was in charge of it.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, as CEO, ultimately the responsibility is on him.
Yeah.
He might not have been directly involved with
Yeah.
it, but it's still his company that he's leading.
Yeah.
So, like, he was a human being. He was someone's son. He was someone's, husband, whatever. Should we feel bad about that? To which somebody, like, responded, did you feel bad about Osama bin Laden?
Right.
He was
Yeah,
someone's son.
exactly.
He didn't directly kill anyone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we don't.
So, I don't want to condone vigilante justice because that can spiral out of control very easily. You don't just
Right.
kill someone because you don't like them. But on the other side of that coin, I 100% understand the sentiment behind it.
Yeah. And we just talked about that too, about, like, freedom of speech, like being able to decide who says what's hate speech, what's right from wrong, you know, like, you know, obviously what's the court, like 7 of your peers decide the whole court trial.
I'd rather be judged
thing.
by 7 than carried by 12 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So that, you know, but.
Or is it judged by 12 then carried by 6? I don't know how many people are pallbearers in a funeral, and I don't know how many people are on a jury.
That does actually make more sense. I think. Oh yeah, 12 Good Men. You ever seen that movie?
Yes.
Black and white. Yep. Such a good movie, dude.
Yeah. I had to watch it in school.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but like how.
Yeah, judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah.
I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Cool. Nailed it. So yeah, but then, you know, so you have like that kind of, you know, like the justice system is there, but I forget where I was going with that. We deviated hard, but yeah. So I mean, but anyway.
But what I do like, though,
more to
what
back to
I
the facts
do
of this.
like about this is this makes other CEOs of somewhat shitty companies a little nervous.
Yeah. So that's what I was. Yeah.
Which, speaking of Blue Cross Blue Shield and Anthem, back in like November, they rolled out a new policy where they will no longer be covering the full duration of a surgery for anesthetics. So, you know, for example, let's say you have a 5-hour surgery. I don't know the exact policy terms, but like, let's say that was only supposed to be a 3-hour surgery. There was a complication. Now it's a 5-hour surgery. Guess what? They're only paying for that 3 hours of anesthetics.
Yeah. Which, like, to put it into another terms, that's like me saying, like, hey, like, I'm going to put an addition on your house. It's going to take 3 weeks. And then after 3 weeks of me doing it, I'm like, hey, I actually fucked up, and it's going to take me a lot longer, and, like, you have to pay for it. And it's like, well, but we all agreed upon, like, you doing it for this price. And it's like, I think you have to kind of eat a shit sandwich here. Like, because you said you were going to do it for
now,
this.
To be 100% transparent on the facts that I do know, that wasn't that like extra amount of time wasn't supposed to fall onto their customers. It was supposed to fall on the anesthesiologist, fucking whatever that word is.
You got pretty close.
Because according to their data, and I don't know how much I trust health insurance companies' data, there were some people gaming the system to get a bigger payout. Not the patients, but the people administering the anesthetics. I'm not going to say the name of that title again because I cannot say it.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that, you know, theoretically that's how it's going to work. But you and I both know that at the end of the day, the people on the bottom of the totem pole end up footing the bill. That's always how it fucking plays out.
Yeah.
So, but they put that policy change out there. Of course, the internet at large, people at large, don't want to dig into all the details, and they just assumed, and again, probably rightly so, that just means like I'm going to wake up out of surgery and realize I owe another $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, or more. I
don't know the price of anesthetics.
Google like an average price of anesthetics. I would love to know, honestly, because that is pretty fucked up.
But
yeah, but just the fact that, you know, they're
cost is usually around $400 for the first 30, so $800 an hour and $150 for each additional minute.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you were pretty good. You were pretty close.
All right. So yeah, after the events of I don't even remember what the date was when.
I believe it was Tuesday.
So
I think it was
what
Tuesday.
Would that be the 4th? Well, whenever the assassination happened.
Right.
Later that day, Anthem said that they were rolling back that policy change, at least in Connecticut. It was supposed to affect Connecticut, Missouri, and New York.
Yeah.
I heard that they rolled it back in Connecticut. I have no idea why they haven't rolled it back in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, and I hate.
Oh, and McDonald's CEO said they're bringing back the snack wrap.
Yeah. I was seeing like the jokes about like bringing back the dollar menu.
Yeah. And I've seen jokes about how the Arizona IC CEO and the Costco CEO are, you know, sitting there like, what's everyone worried about?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, you guys are nervous for what? What's happening?
I've been running my company in a way that people don't hate me.
Yeah.
Have you not been running your company that way?
Yeah, exactly. Have you guys been like fucking over your customers? That's crazy.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time. And like sometimes for me, it's like the perspective is off, and I'm like, no, I don't think the companies actually like are, and like maybe the prices have gone up, and like the more and more we've talked about it, it's like every single company that you can like universally name across 50 states and maybe even anywhere in the world, like McDonald's, like those motherfuckers could be they could be paying everybody $100,000 a year and still probably see profit. Like they make the craziest amount of money.
Yeah.
And I'm pro capitalism. I'm all for it. Obviously, as not being a millionaire, sometimes it's harder to like choke down, but like I know that this is the best game that we have, and you got to just play the game. But it does sound crazy.
Yeah,
when like you see a CEO making $10 million a year, worth like $50 million in assets, and it's like, bruh, like
no,
you guys are
capitalism
turning
itself,
fucking people like people are dying.
Well, did you see United Healthcare's stock price went up after he was assassinated?
Yeah, like I don't know.
Oh, there's $1 million in dividends we can pay out.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, no, but some other CEO has to step in and take his fucking $10 million.
Yeah, they posted a job listing literally the next day.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, can you imagine the people like waiting in the waiting room, like, to be the boss, like to be the new CEO? Like, dude, who's I mean, I guess for $10 million, they're like, I'll risk getting shot.
Well, I think the listing said like $100,000 to $300,000 a year.
That's hilarious. He was making $10 million.
Yeah, probably in like bonuses. Like that was probably just base salary. I forget what I just saw. It was,
imagine quadrupling your
there was a company. I forget
like
what company it was.
7 times the amount of money that you make. 70% of it is bonuses. Isn't that
no, that's how
insane?
it works.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, no, I literally just saw a breakdown of I forget what company it was. It's gonna fucking bother me, but they're like, yeah, his base salary is only like a couple $100,000, but if they hit X, Y, and Z goals and with stock dividends or stock options and blah blah this that and the other, his real annual income was like over $1 million.
Yeah.
Well over $1 million.
This all plays into like this tax evasion shit, where like if you make less, you pay less.
And something about like anything over $168,000 isn't subject to payroll tax.
Right. Yeah.
Which is weird, but
weird.
Okay.
Weird rule.
You know what else is weird?
What?
Gavin Newsom buying a $10 million mansion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When his salary is like $120,000 a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man, how'd that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like some people can just get approved for stuff. Huh?
You know, I'm so glad he managed to save up all that money.
Yeah.
For 30 years or whatever it would be to actually equal that amount of money.
Yeah, he must have been busy like not fucking fixing California.
No, they were moving out the homeless people.
Yeah,
cleaning up.
That was a lot of work.
I'm sure he got a hefty bonus.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude, I fucking hate that. I hate it. I do hate that. Yeah, the tax evasion stuff is kind of crazy.
No, dude,
like,
I think
the more and more that like you look at, because like ever since I found that out, it's like the more and more I see it all over the place, like just in like that example,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos has had what was it, $1 million salary from Amazon or whatever,
yeah.
And then buys like a multi-$100 million mansion
or yacht. Like he'll buy like something stupid like a yacht. Like the most depreciated, like a mansion.
Oh man, did you save up for 50 years, even though you've only been making that kind of money for 20?
Yeah.
Wow, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
And you know, we talked about it before. They take loans out against their value, basically.
Yeah.
And those loans aren't taxed.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they got to pay it back, but.
But yeah, I mean, you have so much money that,
but
like,
that
you're
saves you
paying
like
it back.
Literally millions of dollars in taxes.
Yeah.
So it's like it's worth it.
Yeah, you're paying it back with the taxes that you saved.
Well, you're right.
Like
no,
tax revenue.
That's
that
what it was. You know, you buy this stuff, but it's not yours. It's the company's, and it gets written. It gets paid. That loan gets paid off by the company, not you. So you can take your smaller income that you only pay minuscule tax on, and then the company writes that off as like a company expense, and it's a tax write-off.
Yeah. Yeah, and then but then somehow. Everybody at Amazon makes like $10 an hour.
I think they actually
make more than that. They make more than that. I'm just saying.
I think they've bumped it up to 17 or 18.
Yeah.
They still, that doesn't change the fact that they demand ungodly amounts of efficiency out of their workers, to the point where it's causing some of them to have mental breakdowns, and they put cry boxes in the factory or in the warehouses.
A cry box is preposterous. Like,
and the drivers have to have pee bottles because they are tracked and they literally have no time to stop to take a piss.
yeah, cry boxes. We used to call those smoking courts. Back when you could smoke.
But yeah, I think the quickest way to fix that is to tax loans that are taken out against assets like that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I'm
sure there's problems with that I'm just not aware of.
Yeah,
but I feel
think
like
that there's
got to be something you can do to fix that loophole.
Maybe. I don't know, dude. I don't know, because I'm also a big proponent of people bringing back jobs to America, and like making things in America.
Yeah.
Phones is a big one. Clothes, is a big one. Just all kinds of the normal everyday products that we make here, or that we make other places and get shipped here. I think all that stuff's important, but then I also look at like these CEOs, like the old Bezos, who's completely. I mean, obviously he's not a part of Amazon anymore, but he's definitely not created a good work environment for people. It's one of the greatest achievements. One of the biggest like life-changing things that everybody uses multiple times throughout the year. It makes so much money,
and I still think it sucks.
And
it kind of sucks to use.
Yeah, but I don't know. But regardless, like the people aren't getting like paid that well. We're like. And we talked about this before, where like the mailman used to be like, that was a good job, you got paid a good living, where like it was like, well, this is an honest living and like it's a good wage, and that I can totally like retire from this. And like, of course, they got pensions and stuff with government jobs too, right? That's how that works.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's one of the few places you can still get a pension, probably.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if it's quite like that anymore, So it just sucks to see like, something like Amazon have such an opportunity to be able to like change people's lives for the better and not just be another McDonald's opportunity, and no offense to people who work at McDonald's right now, but like that's what I hate to see the most, is that we're like, it would just be like they wouldn't even fucking realize. There's a great video of this guy. There's someone filming Jeff Bezos walking through one of his factories, and it's showing how much money he's making by the second.
And that was
the workers,
the Blue Origin factory.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
where they're building the New Glenn rocket. I've seen that exact clip. His money's just and the other guy's like
he's making like at the rate that the worker is going, it's like making a couple pennies a second.
And the thing is, he's probably making decent money.
Yeah.
He's probably paid like
$100,000.
Yeah, he's probably paid like minimum $50+ an hour.
Yeah. I mean, to be
as
Blue
a contractor
Origin, sure.
in Blue Origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have good benefits and stuff, and obviously that's different. You know what I mean? But like,
but the amount of money that Jeff Bezos is making in that same time period.
Yeah. Like, look, I want him to have a yacht. I also feel like he could also pay some people. I don't know. Maybe that's just the little hippie bone in me.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I want everybody to be rich.
That's the commie in me.
Yeah, that's the that's the commie in me, where I'm like, I want everybody to be rich, and I hope that everybody gets a yacht. But I also don't want anybody to be like a fucking loser and like just be broke.
Well, to be broke for no good reason.
True. Yeah, and that's fair. And I'm penalizing a group of people that probably aren't worth the money.
Well, no,
there's a lot of people who don't
I'm not
want
talking
it.
about that specifically.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like there are people who are hard, honest workers doing kind of a shit job.
Yeah.
That get paid peanuts.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Versus someone who slumped over on Broad Street high off of fucking fentanyl.
Yeah.
They can be broke.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Those
That's
guys...
going to get me in trouble with the drug user apologists.
Yeah. Nah, fuck that.
Believe it or not, some people do drugs not because they're having a hard time, but because they're bums.
Yeah. Yeah. I know there's I hear a lot of people talking about like like when you see like the homeless situation, there's a stark difference between like you can see the people who are just like hanging out with the bums and like kind of trying to decide if they want to do this, you know? Like they definitely don't like living on the streets, but like there's other people that are like definitely living on the streets and they're like, I might want to just be here.
Yeah.
And this is because like they just don't, yeah. You know?
And maybe some of them have become like disillusioned because it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
But
California can get to your head.
But like at the same time, self-accountability comes into play.
Yeah.
Just because something's hard doesn't mean you give up on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. So what else with the old healthcare CEO? Oh, so on the bullets. Yeah. So
what was that? It was deny, defend, depose.
Yeah, yeah, and like I think the middle one, the
Do you know what that's from?
Yeah, there's a book, right?
Yeah, it's a book about navigating healthcare.
Yeah, yeah, and I heard that the author of that book denied to make a comment.
You know,
which is a good,
he's like,
yeah, which is probably a good move. Yeah, but yeah, so that's another little piece to the puzzle. That's just like, whoa.
Yeah, there's his manifesto right there.
Yeah.
I love the jokes. That's like, okay, well, if they want to figure out who did that, they just have to figure out who, had medical coverage denied by United Healthcare. That should narrow down, people with motive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hundreds of thousands of people?
Yeah.
Oh,
we better get started. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, and I brought this up before, where speaking of New York City, the Hasidic Jews that do live in New York, like they've kind of taken up like a section of like Manhattan and other places, and they have their own police and they have their own like kind of like healthcare systems where like everybody chips in. The Amish do this as well, where they have like their own. I don't know necessarily police. They have a slightly different lifestyle out in the Amish fields, but they do have their own healthcare. Where they like everybody pitches in, and obviously this is like just an example of. The smaller that you make this, the easier it is to make everybody happy and to handle it, And so there was something that you sent me a little bit ago about, I think it was actually George Carlin, comedian, who was just talking in a circle on a stage with some other people
that man's
about
prophetic.
Yeah. But talking about how, everything's kind of getting like corporatized to where it's like, there used to be 7 oil manufacturers. Now there's 3.
Soon there'll be 2.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like the healthcare as well, like insurance companies.
Like
United
all of these Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem.
Yeah.
Aetna, are they independent? Are they owned?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we have Aetna.
We do, but yeah. So then, but like. And then everything else in between is all under the umbrella of those 3 companies.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at anything in the consumer goods space, and they're owned by like 4 or 5 companies.
Yeah, I think I talked to you about this before a couple years ago. The SBF, which is I think it's SBF or SB something or S, but they're the main poultry, beef, meat manufacturer, like or producer. For like all of the United States, there's like 2 companies, would you say, that like make all of this, and like it's not even. I think Purdue might be one of them, like one of like that come close, but this is like higher than Purdue, and like higher than Tyson.
There's like layers.
Yeah,
to it all.
like that's where like Tyson.
The higher you go, the less there is.
Yeah, but it's like things that you wouldn't even know, and it's because it's like you think like Tyson just makes all the meat, but it's like now there's somebody else that's paying Tyson.
Yeah, it's like Procter and Gamble owns everything.
Yeah,
like in terms of like what categories they're in.
Yeah, P&G, Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, well, that's Procter and Gamble.
Oh, that's why I thought of that. I was like, yeah, that reminds me. Like, yeah, because I see that all the time.
But then I'm pretty sure Procter and Gamble's owned by someone.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh,
maybe
fuck.
I have to look into that. But
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, it's BlackRock.
Oh, who'd have thought? Is that Vanguard?
Yeah. Yeah, monopolies aren't fun.
What, India's share price? What? Why is that even a trending thing? Procter and Gamble.
Hmm.
Who owns them?
Founders, headquarters, products, key people.
This is Origins, internal expansion. I don't know.
Yeah.
This isn't that.
But either way,
I was just curious.
Yeah, they might be by themselves. I wouldn't be surprised. Because if you look at, you know, the amount of stuff that they make, you know, it varies quite wide, you know. Well, there you go, Vanguard, BlackRock.
They're owned by multiple
shareholders. Every time. Oh, look at that, State Street. Forgot that one.
Yeah, they're owned by different. Would you call these hedge funds or?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're owned by groups like Vanguard and BlackRock. Although Vanguard's got 9.6%, BlackRock's got 6.8%, and State Street has 4.4%.
I mean, for a company that size, it's still big enough to hurt. That's what everybody gets all pissed off about. Like when they, you know, you find out that Vanguard and all these like big.
Well, don't they also own a bunch of shares in each other? So technically, they could be treated like one big conglomerate.
Oh,
at which point they own, what's that? That's 17%, like 20-something% of P&G.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. Dude, how about Jay Leno falling? Talk. Did you see that?
Yeah, the entire side of his face is black.
Bro. So it kind of looked like, to me, like off of a glance, I'm like, he got beat up by a mobster. Like there's a loan shark that like he owes money and they beat the fuck out of him. Like his thumb was broken. Like he has like broken fingers. And like, look, I've never fallen down a 60-foot hill full of thickets and bushes and brush and debris and trash and rocks. But maybe you would come out looking like that, but it also looks like somebody beat the fuck out of him and then threw him down the hill. Like,
did he send someone after him?
Well, maybe. I mean, but I would just even like go as far as to say that, like, you know, that dude's got a lot of overhead, you know, or I mean, I doubt enemies. You never know. But it looked like he got beat up. It did not look like he just fell down a hill, you know. And like, did you hear like the story of it?
No.
So he's staying at a Hampton Inn, which I thought, you know, I've been to a Hampton Inn. They're not the craziest thing in the world. Like Jay Leno staying at a Hampton Inn. Can you imagine? It just doesn't really seem right?
That seems
a little bit below his bar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's ever been like one to be.
I mean, the guy wears
fancy.
jeans. The guy wears jeans
Outside of his cars.
Yeah.
But even then, the cars he has aren't traditionally fancy. They're fancy to car enthusiasts like you and me.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I don't know if he just has that bougie taste outside of cars.
Yeah. Well, either way. But now coincidentally though, this is where the part makes more sense, is that right next to it is the club that he's playing at, and in between it is this big hill. And when you look at it from like the GPS from the maps, I bet he just mapped it. I was like, dude, it's right there. He's like, I'm not walking around. I'll just scooch down the hill. And I'll just. But I mean, imagine like he must have been drunk. Like if that's actually what happened, and he like decided to go down it, like he must have been fucked up. Oh, steep as shit. Like the steeper than the ditch. Like it's.
Yeah.
And it's all trees and like big bush, not trees, but like you know, the little bush trees, and like there's like it's deep, it's thick as shit. And, you know, like from hunting, I've walked through that, and it's a huge mistake. Like, it's terrible, dude. So, yeah, so I'm resting on I don't believe him. I don't think that's what happened. Because I think if you're that close, like, you're not going to try. And if you do, it's like you're pissed drunk. And it's got to be the middle of the night, and you're like, dude, I got that. It's, yeah. So, I don't know. But I thought it was funny. I'm going to pull up his face real quick, too. Yeah, dude, it's fucking, dude, it's like his bloodshot eye. I think he's like bleeding. I mean, even like just the photo of him in the day is nuts.
Yeah.
The daylight photo.
Right now, nothing is working. Where internet's frozen.
Well, that's not good.
Good thing we're not using Wi-Fi anymore.
Yeah, I hope my Wi-Fi is not crapping out again.
There we go.
Well, anyway. Oh.
All these are like low resolution pictures.
Yeah. There's screenshots.
There we go.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's rough. I mean, that looks like you get, like, punched in the face, dude. That's not...
I also
and,
think,
like, you
though,
see his
like,
hand, too.
I think that when you get older, you get a little bit more fragile. You bruise a little easier.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. There was another instance that I did not hear about until this happened that he set himself on fire.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
That was actually bad.
He set himself on fire, I think, while working on one of his steam cars.
Yeah. And, like, third-degree burns and shit.
Yeah, he's getting old.
Yeah.
You got to slow his roll a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you got enough money to hire people to work on the cars. I know it's probably fun for you, but maybe just stick to the gas cars.
Yeah, I mean, a steam car is nuts. You're like, oh, just get in there. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to just get my wrenches in there. That's a terrible Jay Leno. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like Jay Leno.
Yeah, personally, I love the guy. Yeah.
And
I think he does like to drink, though. So I'm in between. I think that he might have been a fella that was just like, a couple of drinks at the bar, Hampton Inn, you know. Can you imagine, like, seeing Jay Leno at the Hampton Inn in, like, fucking
Could you imagine
Arkansas?
walking past the base of this hill and seeing him come tumbling out?
We were like, oh, shit, there's a
Oh,
crack.
shit, is that Jay Leno?
Just it's like, no, it's a crackhead. Get away from him.
Don't look, Jimmy.
Yeah. Isn't that fucked up, dude? Like, I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast, but, like, speaking of helping people, so there's been one time where, like, I've been in a scenario where it was very easy for me to, like, stop and help someone. It was, like, in a problem with, like, their car. And that's our thing, is cars. So, like, I've always thought about, like, oh, I could, like, pull over and help this person, like, change their tire or do something. Or, like, oh, my God, their hood's popped. I could probably help them, you know, could, you know, assure them that they can get off the highway. Like, oh, just drive it to here. You're going to be fine. So, walking out of the bank, of all things, and there's this guy, I can just see, like, his back's to me, he's trying to put this wheel on, and I was like, you know what, I'm feeling good, and I walked over to him, and I was like, hey, like, do you need some help? And I was, like, trying to put his wheel on, and, you know, he was not doing good. Like, he was not, like, very good at it. So by the time I get the wheel off and his spare on, and I got the jack out and all that stuff, I realized that he's high as a fucking kite. This dude's like can barely stand, can't speak.
Shit.
It's like
I'm helping him get back on
like,
the road.
Yep. And then he was like, "Thanks." And then I watched him drive away, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like the one time that I go to help somebody, and I just put a crackhead on the road, and I was just imagining him just like blowing through the red light, and like nothing happened. He was fine, but I was just like if it was a movie, it'd be like, "Oh shit." But
No, I don't think you ever told me that story.
Yeah, so I've stopped helping people ever since.
I've helped a couple people. I remember there was some guy in a Volvo wagon that was like broken down right outside of my apartment, like right on the main street, right outside my complex. And I pulled over, and like the thing's like boiling over, and I didn't have anything on me to help like bleed it, but I ended up giving him a ride to the Wawa to get some like water just to put in the thing. Yeah. And then another time someone was in a Honda Odyssey, same road, but way further down in an area with like no shoulder. And the car was just dead. Like his alternator was bad. Yeah. So the battery just died. So I just like maneuvered myself to where I could get my jumper cables onto his battery, gave him enough of a charge to make it to the Wawa where he could get the thing towed and he was no longer
be
on
safe.
the side of the road.
Yeah.
So I haven't had too many bad experiences. I did stop to try to help someone one time. It was late at night, but I was driving home, and I was in my that white Volvo station wagon. Yeah. And it looked like a mom and her teenage daughter were pulled over, and I just kind of stopped because they were just on the side of this empty road with their hazards on. I'm like, hey, are you okay? Do you need help with anything? And they're just like visibly nervous. They're like, oh no, we're good. And I'm like, okay.
Not a murderer.
And it was at that point that I realized, like, oh yeah, I'm a guy in a shitty old car. In the middle of a dark road.
A station wagon.
Yeah, in a station wagon.
Yeah.
In a dark, empty road.
Yeah.
And this is like two women.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay, I'm going to leave you be.
Yeah. 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 I love that. Like it's like a little joke. It's like man, like, you just pick up strangers, like, aren't you worried about them being like a serial killer or something? And it's like, yeah, the odds of there being two serial killers on the same highway are very slim. I may have butchered that, but
no, that was the gist of it. You got close enough.
Yeah. So there's two little segues that I have, and I hope I can remember both of them. Oh, is this the new CEO?
Did they hire a new one already? No, these are old
Andrew
CEOs.
Whitty.
Yeah, that's from 2008 to 2017. I think we've covered that enough.
Yeah. So I did want to talk about digital currency. Obviously, I don't know much about it. I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if anyone ever truly will without lying directly to your face. I have a hard time believing that people who are like, oh, I know, I think they don't know. No one knows. No one knows how you're mining a Bitcoin. Yeah, shut up. Anyway, so one of the things that's happening right now is there is a big boom in digital currency.
There's a big boom in rug pull meme coins.
Sure, but I think that there's the Bitcoin itself, like digital currency, is regaining strength from the Sam Bankman-Fried incident.
Well, I think the established players are. Any other meme
But
coin or whatever kind of coin, I think is just
yeah. Well, I mean,
Nothing
no one cares about meme coins. Okay, like that's
the
like
Hawk Tua girl does.
Right. Well, we'll get to that. well, so these meme coins are the same, is the same thing as GameStop to stock market. It was like no one's actually investing in stock in GameStop stock. So anyway, but I wanted to kind of put this fun theory because I was someone else that came up with this theory, not my theory, but I would agree that it's got some standing. GTA 6 may become the thing that everybody uses to be able to make digital currency the real thing. I think it's going to be it's going to be a big stepping stone to making digital currency legitimate and possibly almost, if not the same as $1, fucking close.
And why do you say that?
So I thought you would never ask. The reason being is that now with the VR suits, all of where video games have gone, Twitch streaming, millions of people being able to
That's
see
some pressure behind it.
Yeah. But millions of people, that one's not as good. If you're going with something fun, go with I'm actually a fan. So I just found that bird dog down there or upstairs, and I was like, oh shit. Chris was saying that he liked the bird dog. That one's just straight Kentucky bourbon, but that one is rough. So that's we'll work on that.
Did you want some?
I'll get in there. Thanks, man. So my theory here is that there's millions of people, if not more, who play video games, and everybody is sucked into them. People are watching other people play video games. Millions of people were watching Fortnite. People are spending thousands of dollars on Fortnite skins and all kinds of different crazy shit.
So you're thinking GTA 6 is the gateway to Ready Player One?
Yes, I think so, because GTA 6, if it's as good as everybody thinks, I think the world is already prepped to, especially how things are going, and hopefully the world becomes funner. But right now, people are pretty depressed with everyone's standing. The state of things. So, with a retreat into video games already, video games are already a prominent thing.
It's an escape.
Yeah. But another thing that someone had mentioned in that, in this comment, was that, millions of people get to, you interact with on these video games. So, if you buy a new pair of shoes and you're a guy who goes out a lot, maybe 100 people notice your shoes.
And no one asks if you can run fast.
And nobody asks. Nobody asks you if you can run fast. Now, if you're in a video game, everybody's like, dude, how fast can you run in those shoes? They're like, bro, those are sick.
See these shoes?
Yeah. So, when it comes to spending money, and you're worried about the clout, and we've already discussed, there's many people who have the money are all only worried about the clout. They buy chains and shit. So if you were to just spend that money instead on a video game, and that video game became the real thing, it's dude, the GTA 6, is my opinion, will be if it's possible, it's going to be the gateway. And I think that's why people are investing in it now.
I would be worried if GTA became the next like Ready Player One, because that's all about. Well, what would you call it? Like the Chicago simulator?
yeah. So it's like, but I think that's what people enjoy about it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like people enjoy the role playing, and
you
people
can get your frustrations out without consequence.
Yeah.
Not
but
to be
also
one
you
of
can
those
just
video
do
games
things.
cause violence, people, but
Yeah, but also you can just do things.
You can do things you
look a
could
certain
never
way.
do in real life.
Right. Yeah, you can look a certain way. You can drive a certain car. You can be in a certain area, a certain house. Like the freedoms of being able to do whatever you want.
Sorry, you can be in a certain area of a certain house. Like I could be in my bathroom.
I could be in my fucking bathroom at my house in my video game. But I mean, you joke about it, but like, didn't you like in Fortnite or not?
In Minecraft.
Minecraft, yeah, you like made your apartment.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so
I was able to stand in my bedroom in my apartment in Minecraft.
Yeah. So that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that like I think that like video games are getting close. The VR simulator stuff.
I
is getting
agree
close.
with you that like video games are an escape, and GTA 6 is going to be huge unless Rockstar drops the ball,
or if someone drops a nuke before it comes out, because I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
We got World War III before we got GTA 6.
Fuck. Yeah.
No, but I don't know if it'll be GTA 6. I expect with how long Rockstar's been working on it and all the hype around it, if Rockstar can live up to it, GTA 6 will be a huge leap over GTA 5, which is already massive.
Yeah.
But I don't think VR and VR accessibility is where it needs to be for it to take on like a full on like this is going to be a majority of my waking hours.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spend all my money in here because spending my money in the real world gets me less of a return.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think we're at that point yet technologically.
Okay.
But GTA 7 might be.
Yeah. Okay.
If they take another 10 fucking years to make it.
And I'm being optimistic. Maybe it's probably the wrong word, but like, because I'm not pumped on this, but but I see it as being like a big stepping stone.
Yeah,
I think like I think it's also akin to why people are investing in digital currency, because they could use it in those places.
I mean, I get the whole thing where digital currency is supposed to be decentralized and like, you know, not tied to any one nation, this, that, and the other bullshit. And like, that's the whole appeal behind it. But like for the average person and the mass majority of people, they don't give a shit about that. As long as their money still works, all they care about is the convenience. So until, you know, local currency becomes so untenable that like, you know, we'd have to go through some, like we would have to go through like World War III or some like economic collapse of like an unprecedented scale where money becomes basically meaningless.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of people who are like you and me aren't super informed on digital currency. Yeah, before like we even begin to consider that a viable option. Like, why would I care about digital currency when I can buy shit with my credit card digitally online?
That's the other thing too that I've also wrestled with, and I'm like how who's to say that like when I'm spending with my credit card isn't digital currency, because it fucking feels like it. Because like if it's just magic numbers in the air that float from here to there.
Yeah. I mean, the bank doesn't have all of my money sitting in a vault.
No.
They've loaned it out to someone.
To Jeff Bezos. Yeah. So so like if you guys if the bank wants to call them dollars and I want to call them
Dogecoin,
then
fucking
who gives
Hawk
a shit?
coin.
Yeah, which that was my segue into this. Was
But
that
yeah, like
I was
to what you were saying, like functionally, what's the difference between a true digital currency and me just punching in my credit card number or using Apple Pay to buy something online?
Yeah, and I think that you kind of pointed out the fact that it would be not tied to one nation. Obviously, it would still need to be taxed. Like, there's no way that like you're doing these things with Dogecoin unless you're like in deep internet. And even then,
but again, the
like
vast, overwhelming majority of people.
Yeah, but I just thought that GTA 6 was kind of like laying a foundation where like being able to like illegally like or I guess I don't know. I don't even know what the legality is, but like
it would be legal until regulated, just like we're seeing with AI.
Yeah. So yeah, you could buy and sell, trade things digitally.
Well, they were already trying to do that when Metaverse was the new hot thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that like if you're using like a digital currency as opposed to a dollar, like they don't track it.
Well, yeah, the only reason that GTA doesn't have a
marketplace.
Well, GTA doesn't have an economy that's intrinsically tied to a real world economy is because you can't convert your in-game currency to real currency.
Yeah.
Now, there are ways around that.
Yeah,
you can sell your account.
Well, no, can't you buy your No, wait, what do you mean?
You can't convert your in-game currency to real currency. You can convert real currency to in-game currency to buy cosmetics and other bullshit.
Sure.
And add-ons, but you can't convert that money. Like, you can't make $1 billion in GTA and then find a way to convert that to some kind of real-world currency. That's what keeps that in its own box. Yeah. So until Rockstar decides to change that, now you can kind of get around it by selling your account.
Yeah. But even then, it's like selling your YouTube account. You have like a fitness page and you sell it to some guy who's like going to stream GTA.
Well, that happens.
Really?
Well, I mean, maybe less with like YouTube, but a lot of Instagram accounts change hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Instagram, but then maybe you're not paying attention, but like, or like and because of the feeds being so dramatically overfilled, like all the people that you follow, you can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep up because all of the other shit that they're pushing in, they're showing you things that you don't follow. It's like
suggested.
Yeah, exactly. But like just on your like normal I
know what you're talking about.
Feed, which I think is like fucked up. There should just be the explore page.
Well, Twitter fixed that kind of.
Yeah.
If you go to X, I'm sorry. If you go to X, you've got the For You, and then you've got the People You Follow tab, which only shows shit from people you follow.
Yeah.
Which I think is how a lot of it should be.
Yeah, 100%.
Give me that choice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and then just showing me things. And what's been fucked up, there's been so much stuff, especially now like the holiday season is here, like the phones are listening hard. Like I look up one thing and like now that's all I'm getting in my Instagram ads and I'm like, God damn it. Like, get out of here.
Hey, did you see I don't know if it's something you would have just like seen. It was some weird thing I saw online, but it kind of came out that like Alexa is always listening.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no shit. And like functionally speaking, it's basically a wiretap. And then
like they've used it in crimes, haven't they?
I don't know.
I thought that there was a case.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But the weird part was, and that was the nature of the post that I'm bringing up here, was like, the weird part is that people were defending it.
Dude.
And like, it wasn't just like the normal like, oh, well, it's a trade-off we have to, it wasn't like well articulated. It was just like literally just, don't bully my Alexa.
Oh my God.
It's like, what you're literally saying, don't bully my wiretap.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you are literally falling for
like, I would like to put a microphone in your.
You're literally falling for the psyop, where they try to normalize being under a constant surveillance state.
Yeah.
And you are one of the useful idiots that are like enforcing this for them.
Yeah. They were walking with the fucking flag.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
That's why I don't have one.
Which is why I'm saying...
I mean, my phone is basically probably a wiretap, but
yeah,
you can't function without that in today's society.
I know. And again, like, I want us to make phones in America because it would be more...
Expensive.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. Now, that's what's funny about this. I don't know if you've bought a phone in a while, but like when you buy a phone, you don't pay a fucking dime.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you wait long enough to get an upgrade.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, those.
Actually, I paid for my phone.
2 years.
I paid for my phone.
Why?
Because we use a budget plan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's not included because you want to pay less per month, but you agreed to pay for the phone.
Yeah.
So you pay a little bit more for the phone, which, like, generally speaking, is still okay. But nobody has fucking, $1,500 to buy a phone.
Yeah, no, it was just added to the bill in a monthly payment, like it was an extra.
Oh, that's what everybody does.
$100 a month.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's what everybody does. That's what every plan does. So yeah, you are buying the phone, but like you don't have to pay like $2,000 for the phone. Is my thing.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that the price increase makes no functional difference because you're just gonna pay it off over the course of the time you have that plan.
Right. Yeah. So fuck it. So why not, not use slave labor for people to dig precious metals out of mines and people in Foxconn to slave labor
to the point where they need to put suicide nets up around the building?
Yeah, to where the point where they don't leave and they live in the place that they work. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
We used to have that. Company towns.
Yeah, not good. That's bad. That's real bad.
Get paid in company script that you can spend at the company store. Yeah. Everything's really expensive.
Yeah,
but you can't go to another store because we didn't pay you in cash. We paid you in company script.
That's crazy. Where the fuck did that happen?
Oh, that was like the around the Industrial Revolution.
Oh yeah, that's 1930s right there. God damn.
Yeah.
Scary.
Mm-hmm. I think unions might have had a hand in fixing that back before they became corrupt, bloated.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep, that's the thing, man. You just, it's everything is about getting a grip on corruption. Because everybody's good to their core, and then you see somebody else, and you're like, dude, I want that. I want that fucking. Look at that fucking car he's got. I want that fucking car. And then you start, scrounging up a little bit of dough, kind of start rubbing shoulders. Before you know it, you're making decisions about your paycheck as opposed to the people that you're supposed to be helping. Yeah. AKA the homeless situation in California. Again, another fucking situation where there's like CEOs and people in charge and are making six figures and like not a goddamn thing's getting changed. Like those people better fucking and honestly, there's nobody who gives a shit.
Didn't California like fail an audit recently for like, they drummed up this initiative to curb homelessness and they raised like billions of dollars and now it's like, well, where'd that money go and why are there still homeless people everywhere?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how that audit works. Like,
I don't know if it was an audit or if it's just like, here we are 5 years later, billions of dollars allegedly spent, and it's worse.
Yeah, yeah, that's so crazy.
I know that the Pentagon failed its like 7th audit in a row, but
yeah, that will never ever be good again.
Yeah, we just lost track of like $35 billion. I'm not really sure where it went.
There's a few trillion that we're not really sure about, but it's, who cares? Maybe I. And they were like, wait, what? Like, yeah, crazy. But, damn, what was I about to say? I was about to say something. Right before that. Fuck, it's gone.
Talk to a girl.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So back to more Bitcoin stuff. So
digital currency.
Yeah, digital currency stuff. So, like many, because Logan Paul did the same thing, right? So the Hawktua girl has made her own digital currency, a meme coin, as it's kind of been donned these days. It's the new term for people just making like pop-up coins that like are all the rage, and then we use your word, rug pull, and then everybody gets cashed out, and then you're without any money. The actual people who, like the majority who have invested, are now left with no money.
I think how the basic scheme works is you and the people you've got running this all know that when it hits
draws a pyramid.
Yeah, but you guys have a set point where you guys are gonna just
as soon as we get to this point, we're gonna sell.
So you build up the hype, you get people to start buying the coin, that drives the price up, and then once it reaches a certain point, because you've already got like a shitload of the coins when you first opened them and it's super cheap, you sell it all off. Now you have the cash and the price fucking plummets.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the people who are still trying to buy in to grab that rise up are left holding the bag.
Yeah.
And so she did that. And apparently there's a class action lawsuit against her now.
Yeah, and it's apparently is the worst word. It's just now the class action lawsuit has arrived. Like this was a scheduled class action lawsuit. Like this.
Now there could be a chance that she didn't know exactly what she was doing, and the people who got this all set up for her.
Yeah, there is no playing possum here. That's.
Well, I mean, do you think she knows how digital currency works and finance?
Yeah, but I mean, if did I ever receive any education on writing bad checks? Did anyone tell me like, hey, you can't just go write fraudulent checks and just go cash them into Chase
I'm
Bank?
sure at one point someone might have said it was illegal.
Okay. I mean, no one. I'm sure that there was never a point where, in like when I was in school, because I never took a check. No one even taught me how to write a check. I mean, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But regardless,
I think I actually did learn how to write checks in school.
well, my point is, like, obviously, like,
Didn't learn shit about taxes.
yeah, obviously we know what's right from wrong. Okay. And we know that you can't just get money when you do nothing.
I mean, the internet's proving that wrong.
Well, I mean, at the very least, you've created and entertained.
Yeah, I guess.
At the very least, everybody got a chuckle. Aha! Look how cute that was. Hock to her. That's cute. And now, like that, there's a product. Okay, that's a product. So like now, like, you've created this coin that we're all going to invest in, and you're just like, well, I didn't know. That seems crazy. And if you didn't know, then fine. But that is exactly like me being like, well, nobody told me that I
can't just write whatever number on the check.
Yeah, I can't just write whatever number that I'd like to have on this check, and then I get that money. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, don't send me to jail now. Like, it's like, no, this is a big problem. Like,
we're sorry.
You can't play possum. Yeah, you can't just like pretend because now everybody's gonna be like, well, oops. This was my first time.
Well, I mean, that's what they try to do with the the Chase Money hack.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
That's check fraud.
I'm not falling
It's
for
just
it.
check fraud.
Yeah, it's just check fraud. Pretty simple stuff there. Textbook. Just like this. This is textbook. I mean, people have been doing this in our economy. I mean, today. I mean, all of these venture capitalists are fucking the system all the time. But yeah, when you get these meme rug pulls, it's just so blatantly obvious, so I just saw another one actually. Nvidia.
Yeah, isn't their stock like kind of crashing?
Yes, but what was curious is that the stock was crashing.
Oh, and there was that big sell-off right before the news came out that they were being investigated.
Yes.
Yes. I did see a headline about that.
So yeah, so we can look that up too.
Yeah. Let's just go right to the chase.
Yeah.
Come on, someone tell me. Market beat. I have no idea if that's a reputable. Whatever. What the facts that I do know.
Yeah.
Is that Nvidia's stock price started coming down, and there was a mass sell-off of a bunch of stocks right before an announcement came out that they were being investigated by like some government department for something.
Yeah.
And well, isn't that just interesting? I'd be real interested for when the statement on Nancy Pelosi's trades come out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like how can it be on this like crazy drop all day long, and then when the market closes, like that's textbook insider trading.
Yep.
I mean, it's black and white.
Certainly doesn't look good.
But no one's going to go to jail. No one's going to get in trouble. Nobody.
Yeah.
No one's going to talk.
Every once in a while, someone gets in trouble because they want to make an example just to make it look like...
Can't believe they did that to Martha Stewart. A little bit of tax fraud. Oh, no, that was insider trading, I think. Yeah, she was insider trading. I went to jail. Poor little Martha Stewart. I love that lady. Fucked up.
Yeah, she can have a little insider trading.
Yeah,
that's a treat.
Let her have a little. She's done something for the world.
She's done more than a lot of these other fucking people.
Yeah, I mean, all of like the halfway decent, kitchen apparel and towels and plates and things, and then God forbid, like all the cookbooks. Come on,
that's real value to society.
That's
right
actual
there.
value. That's you're figuring out a fun way to nourish yourself. What has Nancy Pelosi done? She actually might have done something good at some point. Dude, have you seen like the old pictures of Nancy Pelosi?
No.
She's old as dirt, dude.
Yeah, she is.
Talk. It's incredible when you see these old pictures. Also, Joe Biden. I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, he somehow
Fucking
got hair.
Handsome devil.
He somehow grew hair as he got older.
Yeah. I think that's got a good old transplant. when you got that insider trading money. Yeah, crazy. Oh, that's right. She met John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's John F. Kennedy. Holy shit. That's so funny.
That's how long she's been.
Nancy Pelosi got to meet John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's preposterous.
How long has she been in politics? I mean,
too goddamn long. Let somebody else drive the boat. Fuck this.
there was something else I wanted to say.
And like of all things, I my sister actually made a good point because like she's actually on board with this. She's like, she hates the term limits as well. Like not only because she's like, sure, like maybe, and she's like, maybe somebody's gaining the system by being in there for so long. But she's like, more importantly, there's like new people that are like dying to be in those seats that have new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Like out with the old.
Well,
like stop getting us stuck in this rut.
How out of touch are these people?
True. Yeah, they're so
not
rich.
only are they old, not only are they rich, but they've been in the sphere of just politics.
Yeah.
For 50 plus years.
Yeah, dude, they're playing Candy Crush on their phone. I don't want anybody making decisions in my life who also play Candy Crush. That's it. Yeah, and I think that's a fair thing to ask for as an American citizen. If you're still playing Candy Crush on your phone, you gotta go. You gotta go. Go play Candy Crush on the beach, sip a fucking Mai Tai. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Stop fucking up our shit. Stop fucking up our shit.
No, they're just so far out of touch. I mean, like, you look at the average old person and ask them to, like, change the
radio station on their fucking car.
Change the background on their phone.
Yeah. Reset the clock on your phone. Do it. You can do that on your phone. Do it on your car.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. That's a good one. Can you collapse the rear seat of your car? They don't even have cars. That's the thing. They don't even drive.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't drive. Like they don't have maids. They don't like cook for themselves. Like
I mean, how much is a banana? $10?
I know. My favorite of like, which is a terrible example for this scenario, but Mariah Carey thinking that electricity was free. Talk. She's like, Bill? Who's Bill? They're like, no, like you get like a bill in the mail for electricity. She's like, well, not in America. And they're like, he's like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah. She's like, in America, electricity is free. We don't have to pay for that. And he's like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
You're so far removed from just the daily expenses of living that you have no fucking clue.
Yeah, dude, pull that up. Like, just put it Mariah Carey, Bill who. It's so fucking good. Because that's the craziest part is that, like, literally, that's all I want to see is that because I'm almost positive that she's like, Bill who? Bull. Pay what?
Is this a fucking...
Yeah, just keep going. It's like a big interview. Just move it forward a little bit. Yeah.
Pay Bill.
Bill who? Like, in America, we get it free.
You feel like but you don't.
Yeah. Like, preposterous. Like, and like, I don't know what her, life history has been, but, clearly she did not start from the bottom, which, like, I mean, and like, nobody wants to start from the bottom, we definitely praise the people who started from the bottom, and they're more real, human beings, but boy, she had a touch. Ooh, I got another good one. Speaking of this, so have you seen all of the interviews from the Wicked movie with Ariana Grande and the other girl?
I've seen some.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Like, they made a fucking movie. Relax. It's not that big of a deal. Like Denzel Washington, there's another like great video of Denzel Washington sitting around like a big circle with a bunch of other actors, whether it was for their movie or just as actors as a whole. They're all just having a conversation, and he's like, everyone's talking about how hard it is, and people understand like the hardships of like what they're doing and how like brave they are for being able to like, you know, put themselves in front of the camera and like and do this job, and that how like it's like a Call of Duty almost. And he's like, no. Going to war is hard. Getting cancer is hard. This is a gift that someone pays us to do this. Like we should all be grateful. We shouldn't be bothered by the hardships of this job. This is a gift. You guys are out of touch. Mm-hmm. Like that's his only comment to the whole thing. He's like, shut the fuck up. And like, speaking of that, like that's just a person who's clearly in touch, you know, who, like, as an actor.
What's it called? The Ricky Gervais speech for.
Oh yes, dude.
Was it the Oscars?
Yeah, that was so good.
Iconic.
Yeah, that could have put a fucking crosshair on him. Like if that dude ended up dead the next week, he'd be like, God. Well,
I've watched that several times.
Yeah,
it's like, man, someone gets it.
Yeah,
at least someone out there fucking gets it.
Thank God somebody is in touch.
You are in no position to criticize, you know, the public.
Yeah,
or to preach to the public.
Like, yeah, and we've said this a million times. Is that like I don't like anybody who's following along with like the Wicked interviews and like loves like what they're doing as a movement. At least what they think that they're doing, like. Whoever is like on board is just indoctrinated into like whatever they do is perfect. Like the Swifties, whatever Taylor Swift does is perfect. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't matter what she does. Like she squishes a bug and they're like, no one does it like her. And it's like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Oh my God. Did you see that fucking.
But my point
you
is.
You might even send it to me, the interview where they're like asking. Oh no, you didn't send it to me. I was thinking about sending it to you.
Yeah.
They're just asking a bunch of people like, would you rather have 1 Bitcoin or Taylor Swift tickets?
Yeah.
And all of these chicks are like, Taylor Swift tickets.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the guys are like, a Bitcoin? Like,
yeah.
No contest.
Yeah. It's going to be worth something someday.
Do you know how much a Bitcoin's worth right now?
No.
$99,900 something dollars.
Holy shit. Yeah. So
like almost $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 Bitcoin.
Yeah. So you could go backstage passes for that.
Yeah. You could buy all the Swift tickets you wanted.
Yeah.
And then like they told it to one chick and she's like, oh, I didn't know it was that much.
I'll have the Swift ticket.
I still think I want the Swift ticket.
Oh my God.
Like,
I don't even understand.
How wrapped up in this other person's life are you?
Yeah, 100%. But still, my main point to like making that, which is like what I just hate, is like I hate having
idolization.
The pleasure with my medicine. You know, like I don't need to watch a movie and then it also be like this thing. Like,
oh yeah, I'm not watching a movie to be preached at.
Yeah,
unless I'm looking for a movie with a message.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and like movies can have messages and like that's fine, but boy, are they? It seems like they're milking.
Well, if you have a message and people don't like your movie, maybe your message sucks.
Yeah, or maybe you did a bad job at explaining it. But like why it has to be, and like, but I guess to be honest, it's really not even the actors. That's what's crazy.
Well, no, it's not the actors until they buy into it.
Well, no, but they haven't said a word. I mean, but also, like, to be honest, it's kind of like one of those things where somebody gives you a compliment, and then you kind of, like, what are you going to do? Be like, yeah, okay.
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about, like, these interviews you're talking about.
Yeah.
They have bought into it.
Sure. But I'm just saying that, like the interviewees are, like, going over the top. They're like, what you guys have done is spiritual, and like you guys have given...
Well, they're also out of touch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, who the fuck? I don't know. I just think it's all dumb. Like, just make movies and make them great, and then like make the message in the movie. You don't have to like talk about how great the message is outside of the movie. Just watch the movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And
like,
you know, maybe make the message fit organically and not just cram it down everyone's throat the whole time.
Yeah. So movies suck nowadays.
They seem to.
Yeah. Oh, but another fun segue. So I don't know if you heard, but Halo the movie is happening.
I've heard rumors of that. I haven't confirmed it myself.
Guess who?
Christopher Nolan.
Dude.
I have. I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up.
I know. If it falls into his hands.
I have been hurt before.
Yeah. If it falls into his hands, we know it's going to be good.
I don't want Master Cheeks. I want Master Chief.
Master Cheeks is wild, bro. He was like, I don't know how I got here. I just clicked on this thing. I clicked on a weird email. Just Master Cheeks sounds like a porn, dude.
Well, that's what they were calling him. You saw his ass cheeks more than you saw him wearing his damn helmet.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Dog.
I know you didn't watch it. I know you're not the biggest Halo fan, but
I'm not. But if Christopher Nolan made
but
the
you
movie,
understand that like Master Chief's face isn't known.
Yeah.
In the video games and in the books, I mean, he takes his helmets off, but it's a book. I don't think they ever really describe him in any detail.
Yeah.
He's meant to be this blank slate that you can kind of like put yourself into.
Ah, okay.
So, throughout all of the video games, they never show his face. If you beat like what was it, Halo 3 on Legendary, you get a special like end scene where like he takes his helmet off and you can just see like his eyes, and a little bit of his cheekbone because it's all in shadow. Like that's the most we've ever gotten out of it. First episode of the of the fucking TV show, and his helmet's right off.
Whoa.
And the fucking showrunners and the lead actor are like, well, you know, we can't convey, like, we can't have a human-to-human connection with the helmet in the way. This is right after the Mandalorian TV show came out and was a smash fucking hit.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude, and he's got his fucking mask on the whole time. Also, it's like we can't have like a connection with this, like, ask anybody who's ever played Halo if they have a connection to Master Chief.
Yeah.
It's going to be yes. Like it's actually a huge important part of the character
and
of the
like,
entire
you know,
game.
His whole thing is he's like kind of robotic.
Yeah.
He has a couple of like really dry but witty one-liners. Like he doesn't.
He's not the main character.
You mind explaining what you're doing on that ship, Chief? Yes, sir. Finishing this war.
Yeah.
That was badass.
Yeah.
It was like 5 whole words.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so they fucked up. They
Yeah,
wanted
they
to make
absolutely
Master Chief
fucked up.
like some sort of
They made him some fucking
character.
moody teenager, even though he was not a teenager, but he acted like one.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of weird decisions. Like in the video games and in the books, all the Spartan super soldiers that he's one of them. They were kidnapped as children and they were indoctrinated, like basically brainwashed. In the TV show, they decide no, actually they have this little capsule thing inserted into their body that regulates their emotions and hormones and blah blah blah, so they can't feel.
What?
Except they also call it a pellet, which is like the lamest fucking word for it. Did you remove your pellet? Yeah. Like,
dude, that's pretty whack.
Yeah, like it kind of, and this all to tie this all back into like how out of touch Hollywood is.
Yeah.
It feels like the writers for the show and the showrunners thought they knew better than the creators of the entire extended universe of Halo. And their ego allowed them to basically throw everything that was sacred to it right out the window and write the story they wanted to tell through the lens of Halo. Yeah. No one fucking asked for that.
Yeah.
No one wanted this. You're so fucking high on your own farts that you thought you knew better than the uber fucking successful video game franchise.
Yeah, which has had how many games?
Well,
still
it depends. It depends. Do you want to count just the games that should count, or the games that all the games, including the awful ones from 343?
Okay, so a lot. Either way, it's a lot. My point.
Well,
is that like people
5
love
good games.
People love the game.
5 good games, 8 total games, 10 if you count the spin-offs.
So, yeah. So people
and
love
tons
it.
of books.
Yeah.
Tons of books.
Yeah. And see, like the books are the important part. And just like every movie, it's usually always, and that's kind of true too, where like they do usually fuck up a book in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, that I can understand, because a book can be 500, 600, 700 pages, and a movie you don't push more than 3 hours.
Did they say that they outright like try to base it off the video game and not the book?
No. They said this is an alternate timeline as an excuse for the discrepancies and the fucking major changes they made.
Yeah, alternate timeline where the video game and the book got worse.
Well, it's an alternate timeline where everything that was good and cool about Halo just didn't happen.
It just didn't make it to the page, didn't make it to the writer's room.
And then, I think they learned some lessons by Season 2, because by the end of Season 2, when they introduced, like, the main, like, existential threat, like, that was well done. And then they canceled it.
Dude, speaking of TV shows, I just saw this video. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but this guy's like reading like the screenplay like to this idea for a TV show, and it's a TV show with a bunch of guys that are on an island, and they have to figure out which one of them's gay. And then, like, plot twist, like, they're all straight. And it's just a bunch of guys acting gay.
Yeah, they had to figure out who the straight one was.
Yeah. So, like, but they all have to pretend to be gay to figure out who's straight.
Well, there was actually something like that. I think...
That's so funny,
I haven't seen what you're talking about, but it sounds like they're, like, doing a skit pitching an idea.
Yeah.
This was, like, actually, like, a YouTube show where, like, they did that. They put a bunch of guys in the room. They're like, okay, look, you're going to pretend to be gay. Everyone else in the room's going to be gay, and the whole point is to try to figure out who's faking it. So, be convincing.
Yeah.
They were all straight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dude, that's so funny. Oh, just guys being as gay as they can be. So funny, dude. Oh, God. That's so good. That's like the best version of the Truman Show. Like, why isn't that getting to the page?
Yeah, I know.
But
that
instead
we had,
of having
like,
90 Day Fiance, like, what the fuck's happening, man?
I know that we had like a bunch of shit that we actually want to talk about. But I got like that just reminded me of another TV show that I remember from back in the day, like actual TV show. I watched like 2 episodes and could not watch anymore.
Yeah.
It was the premise of the game was you would like before the show started, they would give you a polygraph test and ask you a bunch of deeply personal and invasive questions. And then, after you've taken the polygraph test, they'd march you out on stage in front of the studio audience and all that, in front of the cameras, and then they would ask you the same questions. And you had to tell them yes or no. But you just took a polygraph test, so they already know when you're lying. So you would, and for every question you answered truthfully, your jackpot would go up. And if you made it to the end, you got like $1 million or something. But these were deeply invasive and deeply. I watched marriages crumble on this TV show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah, they had a guy. The one that I remember, they had a guy. And, again, they ask all the questions beforehand while he's hooked to a lie detector, a polygraph machine. And they march him out there. His wife is up there. He's in front of an audience. He's on TV in front of the country. And one of the questions they asked was, have you chosen not to have kids with your wife because you're not convinced she's the one you're going to spend the rest of your life with?
Oh, fuck.
And he's like, no. And they're like, well, the polygraph test indicates that that's a lie.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Yeah. There
Murray?
goes that fucking marriage.
Yeah.
Like the daggers she was glaring at this man.
Well, what do they get out of it?
Well, if they answer truthfully the whole way up, they get like $1 million.
So
he lost.
Yeah, but so like now you lost your marriage and you don't get $1 million?
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Lie. I
And
mean,
I
tell the
was
truth.
just talking to Fluff about this like literally yesterday. I'm like,
Yeah.
first of all, I could never go on this show because even though I think I'm a good person,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to ask the right question that just like fucking
Yeah.
paints me out to be fucking terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I were to go on there, all shame gone.
Yeah.
Bridges burnt.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I've already cut off my family,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like
4 inches is actually not enough.
like one of the questions I remember seeing was, have you ever looked at another man while standing at a urinal and it wasn't just to compare sizes?
Well,
Like, yeah, you get asked those questions like that. It's like all shame and anything like that out the window.
yeah. Can you use the sentence in a sentence?
It's like I've already accepted that my parent or my family is going to hate me.
Yeah.
If I haven't already cut them off preemptively.
I mean, wait a
I've
minute.
already
wait,
accepted I'm going to be a laughing stock.
Yeah, imagine hating your family member who's now a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, y'all are friends.
Exactly.
Y'all are tight.
We'll work it out later.
You're gonna work it out. Yeah.
I'm going to get that $1 million.
Yeah, you're gonna get that
But
bag, boy.
the whole thing that I never understood was like, once you're on stage in front of everyone, why lie?
Yeah.
You're about to be found out,
Yeah, and you just did your.
and you're going to lose your money.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a psychological kind of show where it's like can you lie? Or can you tell the truth?
In front of everyone?
In front of everyone.
Again, why does it matter? You're going to get outed immediately.
I know, but it's one of those things where, like, because, like, I've watched people do this. Where, like, I know that they're lying, but, like, just in the moment, when someone asks them, like, a question, they're just like, oh, no, I've never been to there. And they're just like, I'm like, what, are you nervous or what's going on? Like, why did you just lie? Like,
why did you panic?
Yeah, why did you panic? I was like, I don't know, I panicked. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. Like, so you lied? And they're like, yeah, I don't know. It happens. Definitely happens. Yeah. 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 I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I could only watch like 2 episodes of that before I was like, I've reached my cringe,
just
like,
cringe
tolerance.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh God, this hurts.
Yeah, just watching somebody fail. Ugh. Yeah.
Those questions cut deep. They do not hold, like, no holds barred.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but you're right. You gotta, if you're gonna get on that show, you gotta just stick to your guns.
Yep. All your shame.
That's it.
Out the window.
Yeah. What's your take on lie detector tests? Because I feel like that's
they're faulty.
Yeah. So what the fuck?
Most people don't know that.
So you just got to print out like every document about faulty polygraph tests and just hand it to your wife and be like, I didn't lie at all.
Yeah, they're not admissible in court for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and like, yeah, dude, and there's like tons of like nail and like hair sample stuff too. That's like tricky. But yeah, weird stuff.
All right, you know what? I don't really want to go into detail on all this, but I do just want to bring up shit that's happened because, like we said, because we kind of already built it up at the beginning, like crazy shit's been happening.
Yeah.
So we're gonna rapid fire this a bit because again, I don't want to go into detail, and honestly, I don't know all the details. So the Assad regime, which was the de facto, like the actual like official government of Syria, has collapsed.
Off of what? Like why?
Well, Syria has been in a civil war
Always
for the past several years.
Yeah.
And one of the factions just took the capital city, and Assad left via airplane, and then his plane disappeared from radar, and the rebel faction is claiming they shot his plane down.
Interesting.
So he's gone. He's out of the country or dead. So, yeah, Syria is... they're going through a turbulent time.
Dude, I mean, just imagine being born smack dab in the middle of Syria.
Yeah, we won the lottery.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Everybody, like, complains about how bad they have it here. I know that things aren't perfect, but fuck.
Yeah.
You got to get your grips on reality because, like, being in the middle of that or being in Palestine and Israel has got to be rough right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's like 4 or 5 factions vying for control. One faction is one that like explosively started spreading and kind of kicked this whole thing off. They did a very coordinated attack in several directions at once.
Yeah.
Aleppo fell like 2 days ago, and now...
Yeah, I've never even heard of Aleppo. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
What is Aleppo?
It was one of the biggest cities in Syria.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad, Aleppo. Shout out.
Yep. So, other happenings. The French government's on the verge of collapse. There was some kind of, I don't know French politics, but they held some kind of like emergency election thing for a new prime minister, and the president Macron, or however you say his name, put up this guy, and the rest of the French government, because it's so fractured right now, voted no confidence, so they don't have a prime minister, even though they have a president. I don't know how French government's set up, and I probably should have looked into it more, but all you need to know is that the French government's in disarray right now. I don't think it's going to fall into like civil strife, but
yeah,
things are not great.
Yeah, and it's just happening now, so I mean, I actually kind of look forward to maybe looking into it a little bit more next weekend.
Maybe by then we'll
deep. Yeah, the more details will come out to give us more inspiration to like look deeper into it. But it's nice to just like hit the taglines because I mean I didn't know about any of this stuff. So
yeah,
if you're watching, look it up, bitch.
Yeah. Do your own research. Don't rely on me.
Don't come here for fucking news. Don't come here for news.
Although honestly, I think we provide the same quality news as professional news organizations. Because if you ever watch the news on a subject you know a lot about, you realize how little they know.
Yeah.
I'm just honest about how little I know.
Yeah, that's true.
What else?
No teleprompters here.
Yeah. South Korea declared martial law for like 6 whole hours, and somehow the president didn't get impeached afterwards. So he declared martial law because a couple things. South Korea has a history of prosecuting and arresting their presidents when they suspect them of being corrupt, committing fraud, all that shit. And there were rumors that the current president, Yoon, was going to be investigated, so they think that's why he declared martial law. He said it was to target internal actors who were working for North Korea, basically. But all of those bad actors kind of seem to be his political opponents. He had the army barricade their whatever their equivalent of the Capitol building is, so that the rest of the parliament couldn't get together to vote to overturn this decree of martial law. They climbed over the fences and forced their way past the army to get there to hold a vote anyway, and it passed 190 to 0. So 6 hours later, he rescinded the martial law because under Korean law, the parliament can overturn martial law declared by the president under a vote. Now, they did have a vote to impeach him, but they need a 2/3 majority, and they were not able to get that because enough of the political party that the current president is a part of did not vote for impeachment. So they were able to shut down the martial law but not impeach him. Things could still change. There's a lot going on right now. He might end up going to jail.
Yeah, because it seems like, if they're at the point of impeaching, because like it's not like this guy was just making moves to like make himself, better off, but like,
well, that's kind of
what
it looks like.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, we got a little bit of that going on here,
on both sides.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that it's wrong, not wrong, but I do think that it's like he's fine with being put in check. Like how many presidents have been impeached? Like 2 in the United States, and one
Nixon
of them
resigned. I don't think he was
before he was going to be impeached.
I don't think he was impeached,
but he was gonna be.
Was Clinton successfully impeached? I think he was.
Yeah, I think he may have been the only one.
Trump was impeached twice, except it didn't go through. So
yeah,
he wasn't impeached.
They put it on the table. Yeah,
it passed one section of government, but didn't pass the other.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that counts.
I mean, he wasn't impeached, so I'm going to go with
he served the rest of his term.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to call impeaching.
Democrats like to say he was impeached twice.
Yeah.
It was brought up twice.
Yeah.
It was denied both times.
I died twice. Bitch. Yeah, so regardless, so like when those kind of things do happen, it's a serious event.
Yeah.
I also think that when it comes to those times that like you shouldn't just willy-nilly throw the impeachment around, because the same thing with like what happened with Trump is that like most of the allegations were like Russia collusion, right? Was that the impeachment?
Quid pro quo with Ukraine, actually.
Oh.
It was the official allegation was Donald Trump froze a bunch of aid assets under the threat that like I will unfreeze these when you find dirt on Joe Biden and Burisma. That was like the gist of the allegation. I read transcripts of the phone call. To me, it was vague enough that you could not absolutely prove that that's what he was getting at. And that seems to be how it played out because he didn't end up getting impeached.
Well,
but it could be interpreted that way if you looked at it through that lens.
Well, be that as it may, my main thing is like when it does get thrown around, it should be serious, because like anything, like you keep throwing around like these terms and they become household, it loses meaning. And with them being, it should just be rare and necessary. So, yeah, very interesting though, but even more interesting that like they had such a crazy thing going on where like it seemed like people really wanted him impeached and then it didn't happen because that's awkward.
Well, he did something very drastic, and it was immediately unanimously overturned, and then they didn't follow through on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know the intricacies of South Korean politics. I'm not very well versed on foreign like governments and exactly how they're set up and how they work, but
yeah, that's a hard job.
Strange
like people who do like with like foreign relations, there's so much like language barrier, culture issues, like
legal differences,
sure, yeah,
procedural differences, bureaucratic differences.
Well, hey, speaking of the Koreas, I'll derail you for a second here. Did you hear about North Koreans being deployed outside North Korea and then figuring out that there was internet porn? Dog, them boys were up to no good. They didn't get a goddamn thing
North Korean
done.
soldiers addicted to porn.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was like,
welcome to the West.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, that changes a man. Like, you know, like that's crazy to just be such a innocent, pure-minded, you know what I mean? Then there's like
immediately corrupted.
Yeah, immediately corrupted with like, bro, you can just search whatever you can. You think it up. It's
the
there.
Nastiest shit you could imagine. It's out there.
It's there, and it's free. Go ahead, just get in there. It's just like that's absurd, and them boys didn't get a goddamn thing done.
Dude, and the language barrier is apparently like really bad.
I'm sure.
They're accidentally, or maybe on purpose, shooting Russians instead of Ukrainians.
Oh, that's funny. Like, you people all look the same.
My, how the turntables.
Oh, that's crazy. But it's even crazier to hear that North Koreans are being deployed somewhere else. It's like, what?
Well,
how often does that happen?
Well, here's a fun lens to look at this through.
Yeah.
Putin has been crying left, right, and center that if any other country gets involved in this war, nukes are on the table.
Mm.
He's willing to end the world if anyone dares step in with manpower to help Ukraine. So what does he do? He ropes in an outside player to help in on his side, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, when that news first broke on that, like, it was kind of a big deal. It's like, is this an escalation? Can we react to this?
Right. And we shouldn't. But
we're not getting bogged down in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to. We've touched on this before, and it's always a fucking mess.
Yeah. But to be fair, I mean, we could touch on it for a second. I think it's fair because we did bring it up. Because, like, you know, obviously we shouldn't, you know, because like if nukes are on the table, like it should be a conversation. But the main takeaway is, like, to your point, was that, like, I mean, it was like flipping the Monopoly table, you know, because you didn't, you know,
because he's losing.
Yeah, because you're losing. That's so crazy to be like, no, it's just between me and him, and then you start losing. You're like, shoot that fucker. You know, it's like, it's crazy. You know, like if you were in a duel,
and from a strictly like, I don't want to say international law, but like from a actual recorded like doctrine standpoint, we shouldn't be responding. Yeah, well, maybe that's wrong actually. Point I want to make is very, very recently, I think around 2020, maybe a little later than that, I don't know the exact date, Russia rewrote their policy on nuclear engagement. So before it was strictly a retaliatory like response, like we will not use our nukes unless somebody attacks us with nukes, and that's kind of how you want it. That's our That's how we look at it.
Yeah.
That's how we use ours. Like we won't use ours unless someone launches nukes at us. Now, obviously, that wasn't the case when we first used them on Japan, but
yeah,
we've changed for the better, I like to think.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, we were excited for our new toy. Yeah. We were like, dude, we're pumped. It's fucked. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
To quote Furman, it's different. No one else has this. Love you, Furman.
It's different.
But shortly after the Ukrainian war kicked off, or maybe just before, because they were planning on this, I don't know the exact date, they rewrote it
Yeah.
to where they are now allowing themselves to use nukes if there is an existential threat that threatens the sovereignty of Russia.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like vague enough to give them wiggle room.
Yeah. How about those the missiles that Biden just signed off on to give to Ukraine?
Did we talk about this?
We actually didn't, and that was the other reason. Like the last podcast, we just were a little distracted, so it came out different. But
yeah, so we authorized Ukraine to use long-range U.S. missiles to strike Russia.
Yeah,
in the Kursk region only, which is the region that Ukraine is currently holding.
Yeah, but I think one of the bigger concerns that people are kind of getting held up on is just the type of missiles that they are, and the fact that they can and are designed to hold nuclear warheads.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, if they are, they're definitely Ukraine's not getting nukes from us. No. We have nukes stationed elsewhere that can reach Russia. We don't need Ukraine to have nukes.
Well, why do they need these things?
Because they're a long-range missile that happens to also carry nukes. If I had a long-range missile, why would I not want it to also be able to carry nukes when it would be relatively trivial to make it carry nukes and conventional warheads?
I don't know enough about it, but I'm just saying.
Like,
it just seems like that they're like, it's like, hey, just try these out, see how you feel. We'll get you some nukes, and then you guys can nuke it out, and then we'll come in and save the day.
No.
That's kind of how I'm feeling.
No.
Well, look, I mean...
Nukes are a losing prospect. It's the reason why we've been so 1 foot in, 1 foot out. We do not want nukes flying, period.
Yeah.
But to apply Occam's razor to that concern, why would I build a whole separate bespoke missile system to carry nukes to cover that same range? Like,
oh, yeah, no, I know.
I could just have one missile that can carry nukes and conventional.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying, like, well, dude, this is an airplane. It can carry nukes. Like, that's how we carry the nukes. Why do you need more planes? What do you want this plane to carry a nuke?
So
what are you doing with this plane?
We give Ukraine a missile with the range to hit Moscow from Kiev or what have you. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, yeah, we have this one missile that can do that. It also carries nukes. We designed it to carry both.
Yeah.
We're not giving Ukraine the nukes. We're just giving them the missile with conventional warheads.
Yeah.
I don't buy any of that, like, concern bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems weird. And again, why now? That's my main takeaway. I mean, like, obviously, like, it's weird that these ones
because
were
if we had given them
we
had given them that option earlier, it would have been
beneficial.
Well, no, it would have been too quick. Like, we've been playing this fucking dancing routine with Russia where they push our boundaries, we push back. So if as soon as they invaded Ukraine and we just decided, okay, here's M1 Abrams, here's some Leopard tanks, here's F-16s, here's long-range missiles, all within like the first month, Russia would be like, what the fuck, and launch a nuke. Again, it's the boiled frog thing.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do it slowly. Just slowly push the boundary.
Yeah.
You can't just fucking
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. That's a pretty human reaction. Like, if you, like, started the war, everybody's like, full of piss and vinegar, and they're like, fuck yeah, I think I got this, and then it blows up immediately. You're like, I was actually looking forward to making some plans here, and you guys clearly have fucked this. Like, flip the Monopoly board.
Yeah.
Send the nukes out. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're playing a high-stakes game.
Like, yeah.
It's a high-stakes game of chicken, really.
Yeah.
How close can we get without crossing the line?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, like, Putin's red lines, because those are fucking arbitrary. Just like our red lines are seemingly arbitrary.
Yeah.
There's an actual line somewhere. We don't know where it is, and we're edging as close as we can to it.
Yeah. No, I got you. That makes sense. It makes sense, but yeah, I don't know. I just I don't know. I've just heard there's like rumors of possible like negotiations going on with Putin, and that like
I've also heard that we've got
coming.
generals who have back channel access to the Russian army, where if a nuclear order goes through, then the army will not follow that nuclear order and will instead impose a coup to get rid of Putin, because they know what's at stake if nukes fly.
Yeah, because they're like, because that is another...
And that happened once in the Cold War already.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. There was some sort of like radar error, I think maybe on the Russian side.
Oh, I know this.
And they thought like, it was a missile from the U.S., so they ordered a retaliation strike. And the guy whose job it was to turn the key and hit the button was like, hang on a second.
Yeah, and they waited an hour.
And they realized there was an error with the radar, and they're like, thank God I didn't fucking launch the nuke.
Yeah. Close one, boys.
Because again, like once nukes are on the table, there's no going back.
Yeah.
That is the, I don't know what World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and fucking stones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're like at the beginning of Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if there's not a peace deal soon, I feel like it'll be, especially now with like North Korea getting involved. It seems like troops are getting deployed. We're already in. We deployed troops to Iran.
To Iran?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Iran. Oh, pull it up.
What are we doing in Iran? Because they hate our guts. They would not let us in there willingly.
Yeah, no, they Iran was fucking around. Yeah, do Middle East. I might be wrong. I think it was Iran though. Yeah, November 2nd.
Well, to the Middle East. You don't
I say
Iran
Middle East, but yeah, I think it was because Iran was fucking around. Yep, it's into warning Iran. Yep.
We're deploying missile defense systems to Israel, and they're going to be operated by American troops on the ground, it looks like.
Yeah.
But that's actually, that and the Ukrainian war kind of plays into why Assad's regime fell recently.
Oh.
So Russia, all of their airstrike capabilities, they pulled out of Syria to go fight in Ukraine. And
so it left them weak, maybe?
Well, they can't support the ground troops, and airstrike capability is kind of vital in modern warfare.
Right.
And Iran's busy dealing with the fact that Israel just completely wiped their air defense system and is kind of keeping their attention. So without the backing of Iran or Russia, their two biggest backers, they fucking crumbled.
Yeah.
As soon as that one faction, the HRT or whatever the hell it is, decided all right, we're making our move, right when Russia's distracted and Iran's distracted.
Yeah. Yeah.
They fucking crumbled.
Well, I know I derailed you a little bit. Did you have something else that was up? Or
I think that was the rapid fire of the world-ending fucking bullshit going on.
The world-ending headlines. Now that those are over.
So now that those are over with, let's get back to shitting on Jaguar.
Yeah.
So we talked
more
about,
stuff have come out. Yes, we did talk about Jaguar in the last podcast.
We talked about the ad campaign.
Yeah.
And how I hate it and I think it's going to work.
Yeah. You know what we didn't get to, and I think I actually talked you out of it, but it was pretty interesting, was the DEI speech that was given.
That's right.
I talked you out of it because of time. It might actually be a good idea to just throw it up now. And honestly, I'm still kind of wishy-washy on what you can put on here and what you can't. But I think with Spotify, you can do whatever you want. I might start putting these things back on Spotify. I haven't been putting them on Spotify just out of laziness. But I might.
I sent that to you on X.
I was playing around on Facebook Marketplace before you.
See that.
Yeah. This thing's kind of sweet. $3,500. It's a project car, but
I think X is logged in on this one, right?
Yeah.
Is it messages? Yeah. So we're gonna. So I think a little context is important because I don't want to come across as someone who hates gay people.
So statement first: we love gay people.
Or just being just straight up anti fucking all of that entire movement. I'm really not. I am ambivalent towards it. I just wish it wasn't so fucking in my face.
Yeah, and so we talked about this. We did touch on this a little bit in the last podcast, where it's freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do whatever you want, as long as it's not infringing on anyone else's rights.
Mm-hmm.
And
but that also includes the freedom to dislike.
Sure, and in both ways, where it works, the street goes both ways, where you can dislike all of these things as well. Now, where those things should stop is in schools and workplaces. You should be.
Well, that is
totally
also dependent on the company. If the company wants to allow that, then that's entirely their prerogative.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would just say that, like, my opinion is that, like, let work be work. And, you know, you don't have to have, you know, I mean, there's full entitlement to, like, however you want to run your business.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if this is how they want to run their business.
But
then,
the point I want to give you, like, I want to, like, give full background context with that is, like, that ad campaign is obviously supposed to be like high fashion weird shit, but it was also getting a lot of flack for being woke, basically.
Yeah.
And on the surface, nothing about that is particularly, like, directly woke.
I know. The bar is high these days.
But there's a lot of like, man, I wish I had better terminology, but I'm not, like, big in, like, fashion and, like, sociology and all that shit. But, like, the imagery and, like, how they're dressed,
yeah,
is kind of more reminiscent of that ideology, that whole side of things, than it would be of a more conservative, conformist, you know, viewpoint.
Yeah. So, and I think this speech as well, just to add.
Well, this speech right here is kind of damning against the argument that, like, oh, no, it's not woke. It's not, you know, about, like, diversity, equity, inclusion, or, you know, LGBT. Because this is the lead, like, this is, like, the head of marketing at Jaguar giving this speech.
Yeah, but I think that as well, like, this speech wasn't, like, given to, like, everybody in the company. I think this speech was given to the department.
Well, this was for
handle this.
This was for an event that was probably, like, you know,
the inclusionary event for Jaguar.
Well, the podium says Virgin Atlantic Attitude Awards. So this is, I have literally never heard of whatever these awards are, but I'm assuming this is to award companies.
It's an attitude award.
It's companies.
Like, that's Virgin Mobile. That's like the old cell phones.
Virgin Atlantic, I think, is their cruise line.
Okay.
Virgin has a lot of, like, branch companies. But I think if I had to guess, just based on, like, what I'm seeing and what this speech was, is this is an award for diversity, equity, inclusion, and LGBTQ initiatives in, like, companies.
Yeah.
You know, companies that promote this get this award or are featured in these awards. If I had to guess.
See, and, like, there's where my disagreement comes, where, like, people get, like, conned in to, like, doing this. Like, it should just be what you believe. As a founder, a CEO, it should just be what you believe. You shouldn't be incentivized, you know? Because, like, now you've mixed money with
the
politics.
Other thing?
Again.
You know, companies get an ESG score or something like that, which has DEI quotas that are, like, you know, weighed in that ranking. Regardless. But this is very damning to the people who say, oh, you know, it's not a woke DEI LGBTQ, you know, influence on this ad, blah, blah, blah. Because this is the head of marketing right here giving this speech.
Yeah.
And
the head of marketing is wearing a see-through shirt.
He's wearing a fishnet shirt and glitter jacket.
Yeah.
But I remember this was, like, the whole speech, so some of it's irrelevant. I want to fast forward. Where is it? And it's struggling to load.
Technical difficulties here. I mean,
What the fuck does transitioning at work have to do with designing a car?
Yeah, well, that's the thing that it doesn't.
like, gender should not be a factor in making a luxury car.
Yeah. Well, and so, like, I mean, I'm like,
especially if you're big on the whole equality thing. Why should a man's car be different than a woman's car? I thought we were equal.
Right. Well, I mean, I've said that about, like, everything. Like, as soon as, like, you take one person and idolize them, you've now, like demoralized or, like, just separated some other group. Like, wherever it is, like, you raise up somebody else, you lowered someone else. It's like, it's never supposed to be that way, you know?
You've othered them.
Yeah, othered, yeah. And honestly, I don't, kind of shame on me. I don't know, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know that much about Candace Owens, but, like, the things that I've, like, seen with Candace, because I've heard people say bad things about Candace Owens, but
she's gone a little off the deep end. I used to, like, see, like, I've seen the older clips that you've probably seen and all that.
Yeah.
And, I agree with a lot of the things that she had been saying, but then she started, like, denying the moon landing and shit, and I was like, all right, that's a bit much. You've drank the Kool-Aid too far in the other direction.
Yeah, but that, I mean, dude, all that takes is a couple YouTube videos. Same thing with Flat Earth. Like, all it takes is a couple YouTube videos and somebody who doesn't really understand that science. And, like, look, I mean, I'm lucky because I have you, you know? Who knows where I'd be if I didn't, you know? I'd be like, I'd be making Flat Earth YouTube videos and not doing a podcast with you. Like, who knows, dude?
Just look outside. Yeah. It's flat.
Yeah, I see straight across. There's the sun. Like, yeah. So, yeah, so, I mean, who knows? I mean, you can't, and, like, the same thing when people give RFK, like, a hard time with, like, conspiracies, which, like, he gets the biggest pass.
I think...
It's okay, I'm not even going to say it out loud, but he gets the biggest pass. So everybody else can just chill out. Like, the rest of the stuff he's pretty good with. Okay? Like, just because, like, you may believe in one thing or the other. If
anyone else said the CIA killed my uncle, I would be skeptical.
Yeah. I'd be nervous.
I'm concerned he might be right.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. So, you know, if somebody has good policy, like, who cares? Because that's the other thing is that, like, you know, it shouldn't always just be like a popularity award. It shouldn't just be like, well, I like the way that they tell jokes. It's like, I want them to be president. Like, I liked him in the movie. All I'm
saying is I don't want a flat earther to be in charge of the Department of Health. Because if they don't understand the basic science behind the Earth being round, what do they understand about the basic science of
I think that those are two different sciences. I think those are two different things.
That sounds like this kind of person who I can be like, yo, we should ban apples because apples have arsenic in them.
I don't know. It seems hard to generalize because, yeah, I don't know. I don't see like the argument. I don't know. I mean, I get it. I get it. You don't want that. You definitely don't want like somebody who believes in flat Earth to also be your president. We're like, hey, like your president doesn't believe that the world is a whole globe, like everybody else does. Like that seems a little out there. That's a little crazy, you know. Like he's president of like this little chunk of this flat Earth. Like that's crazy. You know, so I get it, but also in the same time, like if you have good policy, like outside of like your conspiratorial beliefs, you know, it's like who cares, you know?
Well, there's a difference between having conspiratorial beliefs on things that aren't scientific based, like the CIA killing RFK's uncle.
Well, so here's what
I'm not trying to single out RFK by himself.
Yeah, I would say this.
I
think that when we see like people like RFK come out with like a few conspiracies and like even write books about it, especially that in his case no one sued him, so conspiratorial or not, you know, if he was lying, defamation would be a very clean lawsuit. It hasn't happened yet. Been a few years. So what we're seeing though, but to my point is those are the people that just said something. How many people have like not spoken out about conspiracy, or like they have conspiracy theories and they're like, doesn't look good on the image. Not going to say a goddamn word because I've been around the block or two.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
they're just smart enough not to just keep their mouth shut. You know,
some opinions should stay private.
Well, I mean, I would also venture to say like, you know, someone giving their opinion kind of humanizes them. I just enjoy like the humanization.
Some opinions should remain private.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like in the case of believing in flat Earth,
or in the case of being a minor attracted person.
Yeah, I think you should say those. We got to get those people out of here. You should be forward.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Being a minor attractive person isn't bad.
Yeah.
If that's your opinion, go over there.
Yeah.
Just.
Well, yeah.
In fact, I'm not even going to use that term. You're a pedophile.
Yeah, I know. Dude, that is the craziest thing. I think the world is changing though. The world is like moving in the right direction. Have you seen that New York City is already like on board with like they're like we have an open ear for now like for like the new borders are and what they have on their policy for immigration because we're having people look up what's the
No, I know what you're talking about. I forget his name. The mayor of New York.
Yeah, it's Damn,
but he 180 flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Because right before that, he was a sanctuary city. Then they dumped a bunch of migrants there. And he was like, we can't afford this.
When he invited them in.
Yeah. He's like, we got to stop this. We can't afford this. And now he's like, I want to hear out the borders are.
He was also talking about like people being murdered.
Uh-huh.
The amount of crime.
Yeah.
He's like, on every corner, like no one feels safe. And he's like, and they're not safe. Like, we have to do something about this. And
yeah,
it's like... Dude,
what we've been screaming at you this whole time. How do you think Arizona and Texas feel?
That's what we wanted the whole time.
So here's the thing. Like, I'm glad that's the direction his policy is going now.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. But I'm worried that if another Democrat wins and they,
he's a Kool-Aid drinker.
He's going to go right back to that. Like, I don't know if I don't know if that change of heart was driven by him experiencing firsthand the consequence of the policy he was pursuing, or if he's just going with that because that's who's in power now.
Yeah, he's just aligning with the new administration.
I'm hoping it's the former, where he experienced it firsthand, how disastrous
and this
it
is
is.
actually bad.
And now he has a point of reference to go, fuck, that was awful.
Yeah.
We shouldn't allow that.
Yeah.
Because Arizona, Texas, Nevada, all them border states like down there have been screaming this.
Yeah.
This entire fucking time.
Yep. Yeah, so and it feels good. It feels good that like things seem to be righting their own ways.
I just wish I knew if it was a lack of political spine or if it was genuinely learning a lesson.
Well, we'll take a win when we can get a win.
Yeah, I'll take the win. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Like, we want normal. We don't want crime. We want people to feel safe wherever they live. And I don't know.
Back to Jaguar.
Yeah, I just want to not live in fucking historical times. Like Jaguar being ridiculous.
They've completely rebranded themselves. So
yeah. So the rebranding is the part where like
that's the biggest issue I had.
Yeah.
I just
it seemed ridiculous.
I'm assuming you left this in the this didn't get cut when we were talking.
Yeah,
about
we
Jaguar.
talked about all this. Yeah.
But yeah, I hate the fact that it's pretentious, self-absorbed, out of touch with the average person, and it's probably going to work. It'll probably work because high fashion, like you look at any fashion show, and the average person is go, "What the fuck is that? That person's literally wearing a trash bag." Meanwhile, everyone's losing their mind along the catwalk.
Yeah.
Because it says Balenciaga on the trash bag.
Yeah, but if you don't want those people to buy your car, and you want the people that Balenciaga and people that go to fashion shows to buy your car,
the Mischief Big Red Boot is a perfect example.
Yeah.
No one with a normal mind and like
cool.
a functional brain looks at it and goes, "Man, that's a fashionable boot."
Mm-hmm.
But they still sold out.
Yeah. I mean, or even like I don't know. I don't get fashion. I can't even get into it.
No.
So
no.
But yeah. I mean, like they have clearly picked a demographic to sell to.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And it ain't us.
Yeah. It ain't car enthusiasts.
It ain't car enthusiasts. It ain't.
Which is kind of shocking when you're selling cars that you're not selling to the enthusiasts.
It really isn't. What are enthusiasts buying, Keith?
Old cars.
Older cars or sports cars like Scat Packs.
But I mean,
if you want to call Takeover Kids enthusiasts, but
yeah, that's a stretch. That's a little bit of a stretch. Hardly enthusiast. But I mean, they're just burnout machines, which like I'm teach their own. Now this though is supposed to be a sports car.
No, it's a luxury touring car.
Kind of fast.
Yeah, I mean a grand touring car was meant to go across continents really quickly in unrivaled luxury and comfort.
Yeah.
think Aston Martin, Bentley Continental GT,
Yeah.
the original Jaguar E-Type.
Ah, right.
They're not necessarily like a sports car.
True. Well, so but still, to my point, that's what I'm kind of like, it's. I guess not really. I don't know, but they're either way. I mean, they've picked a demographic, and
they've picked a demographic to sell to, and it's the high fashion, high luxury.
Yeah.
People who are completely disconnected from reality, and as far as I can tell, don't have functional eyes.
Yeah. I guess like the only thing I don't know if I'm even saying it right, but like as a car enthusiast, like we can even look at like the Honda Fit and we can start to pick it apart, or like, taking a look into, like cars that aren't necessarily like
cars.
Yeah, cars that are designed to be sporty and to strike the hearts of those that, are car lovers, So like, but this definitely seems like one of those cars where like we could have been the market.
So yeah,
like, well, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I was trying to say.
Something that we haven't like been explicitly clear about, and the reason why we're bringing Jaguar back up is they have released images. There was a whole reveal video, a live stream on their Type 00 concept, which is not necessarily a production car, but it is to convey the design language Jaguar will be using going forward. I think the first car, because I've seen test mules of it, the first car's similar looking to that. It's covered in camouflage, so you can't really get a good idea of what it looks like. But I believe it's a sedan version of this. It's a 4-door.
So that'll be like the reality that we get. Is a 4-door.
That's the first model coming out, at least.
Yeah.
But the concept they released is the Type 00 concept, and we kind of talked about this a bit before the podcast. I'm not the biggest fan,
right?
But it's nowhere near as bad as the other marketing suggested it would be.
Yeah. And I was talking to Joel. Shout out Joel. And like his mom had gone to look at it at the dealership,
unveiling,
like the show. Yeah, the unveiling.
Because that was in Miami.
Yeah. So, and she took some pictures of it, and it photographed pretty well.
Well, yeah. Again, that's what we were talking about. So in the reveal that they like live streamed, and in the images they release, this thing is lit up in such a way that it looks fake.
Yeah.
Like, they have images of the real car, but it looks like a CGI rendering.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good look. But when you see the pictures of it from like a regular camera with just the regular like stage lighting on it, and you can see how the light plays on the car and how the shadows play on the car, and they're like, actually, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But I still have issues with it. So they have gone for the classic, like, I guess you could call this a shooting brake.
Yeah.
Style, or maybe a coupe. I don't know. Where long hood, big dash to axle ratio, which is something that a lot of cars are lacking nowadays. That's the space between the front of the wheel and the bottom of the A pillars. Mm-hmm. They used to call it like the prestige gap as well. The more prestigious the car, the longer that gap. It's also what makes something very obviously front wheel drive when they have a very short one. Or even like a negative one where the wheel's like under the A pillar. Yeah. See the 8th gen Civic.
Right. Yeah.
Or minivans. And it's also the reason why the Honda Prelude and the Honda Civic from 1990 to 2000 looked like it should have been rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. Yeah, they do a good job.
They had a nice gap between the front wheel and the A pillar.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's a space for a longitudinally mounted engine. So, and I wish Honda would bring that back. They kind of did, actually. The modern cars actually have a bit of a dash to axle ratio.
Yeah. I'm okay with the new Civic.
Yeah, I don't hate them. They're good, especially the Type R.
Yeah.
But they've gone for the classic look of the E-Type, and while they got the overall form factor kinda there, they missed on every single other detail. So, I don't know if you want to put this picture up.
Yeah.
So the E-Type is largely agreed upon to be like one of the most beautiful cars ever
Absolutely.
made.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't obvious, it's the top one. So
and
you can,
and I got to drive one, which I mean, shout out to Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, you're not listening to this, but he's the man, just restoring British sports cars in his spare time now.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, what a pleasure. And it was years ago now. I would love to just drive it again. Convertible, so sick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like they're just. Again, like just the mechanical feel of that.
Oh, that was the other thing. Like the convertibles are fucking gorgeous, and they don't even have like the flowing roof line.
Yeah,
that's how good they got it.
Yeah,
they could chop the roof off and go, God damn, that's still gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, man. Just a beauty of a car, and because it's so old, like you're never gonna be able to like sell clunk again. But man, the clunks of that car, just like the rawness of the steering and like the shifting and like the pedal feel, like the way the buttons move.
That's
and
all
like,
old cars. Because like
I know
my Buick is not the pinnacle of a driver's car,
right? But you know that's what I'm saying. You can't sell that anymore. Like it has to be.
It feels so analog.
Yeah,
even
analog.
though it was.
You can't sell analog. Yeah,
old cars are just better on it.
They are. You're right. But yes. So. Beautiful cars. If this is the homage that they're really going to put forth, I would say the styling. It's close. The problem.
They got the general, overall form factor.
Yeah,
and well, they kind of got this right here matched right there. Although that doesn't continue that way to make the whole front end open up because that's how the hood opened on these old things.
Yeah, it would be cool. What's the drivetrain for this?
All electric. Jaguar has abandoned gasoline as far as I know, and they are going all electric moving forward.
Yeah. So they've been hemorrhaging money, and they're like, why not go out with a bang?
Just Land Rover's, got them on life support.
Yeah.
And Tata's industrial truck division. They can afford to lose money for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like electric's not working, you know.
Unless you're Tesla.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. Well, not even somehow, man. Is that like that? There was a smart way of letting it just kind of unfold, where like they were able to just make one car decent for a while, and then they came out with like new stuff, you know. And like for better or worse, like for the most part, those cars work pretty well.
And it's not just that like they made one car decent; it's they made one car very like from a drivetrain perspective. We all know. Fit and finish. Well, fit and finish and like, interior quality, especially at the beginning, was like not great.
Yeah.
But I just watched a video actually, where they did a range test of a bunch of electric cars. It was the Audi Q4 or something. It was like there was a bunch of small crossovers. It was an Audi, a Ford Explorer electric, which I don't even know if we have here, if that's a Europe only thing. Kia Ioniq 6 or not Ioniq, EV6, Kia EV6, Polestar 4, and Tesla Model Y, and I think there might have been one more car. The new Porsche Cayenne electric. And what they did was they charged them all to 100% and then just drove them till they died. The Tesla came in third in overall range with the like fifth biggest battery. So like at the had one of the smallest batteries in the group, came third in overall range, and was the cheapest by like $10,000.
Yeah.
That's why Tesla's winning.
Yeah. Yep. But even still, I mean, I just feel like electric has its limitations like most things.
Yeah, and they will be overcome eventually.
Yeah.
Just it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
And right now, gasoline cars are still functionally better. In fact, in that test, they had
like hybrid. I know that you said this before, where like you don't agree.
They work for the vast majority of people. I personally hate them.
I mean, for what they want electric to be, it's literally by definition right in the middle. It's like, yeah, because there's limitations to the electric engine, or like electric motors and like battery capabilities. So like you have an engine that like just works sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get crazy good gas mileage.
It's a range extender.
Yeah, yeah, and like does the regen braking? You save a lot of money on brakes, less brake dust.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Like, that's another big thing is like with the environment is brake dust. You know, like it's a huge one that's a contributor to like bad environment shit. And like now you're losing less brakes. I don't know.
I mean, I would prefer to just do engine braking with a manual transmission, but
Yeah, which dumps out gasoline.
no, it doesn't.
Listen.
Your fuel injector's cut.
There's gasoline in the engine. I'm not saying you're dumping fuel. There's gasoline in the engine while you're downshifting.
If you are coasting, like no foot on the throttle, and you have a fuel-injected car, you are using zero gas. Your fuel injector's shut off.
I did not know that they shut off.
Okay, so you got a manual fuel-injected car, right?
I do, actually.
All right, next time you're going down a hill and coasting, not touching the gas in gear, turn the key off. You will hear no difference in that engine. And then turn it back on. And you will hear no difference until you hit the gas. Because your fuel injectors shut off when you are off throttle and coasting. They will not come back on until the car needs to idle itself and your IAC opens. Or you hit the gas.
I did not know that.
I did know that because I learned that in school. Stay in school, kids.
Yeah.
No, we literally hooked up an
School is cool.
oscilloscope to the fuel injectors. Watched the waveform signal. Rev it. And when the engine was down revving, the line went flat. Shut off. So like I said, I'd rather engine brake.
That's interesting. It doesn't seem like that would work.
What?
It doesn't seem like, in theory, that would work.
What, shutting the fuel injectors off?
Yeah.
Why? If you're in gear and coasting, the road's going to keep your engine spinning.
Yeah.
The ignition system's still sparking. Just pss, pss, pss.
Yeah, but how are you creating like an engine combustion to continue the cycle?
You're not. When you are coasting, once the engine speed gets down to like 1,000 and the car goes, okay, I need to idle on my own, the IAC will open up and it'll start injecting fuel.
Yeah.
The engine's still being spun by just the car rolling forward.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, either way, yeah, I still think that hybrids are a better alternative to electric cars.
They fit the role of the average person better. Also, that multi-electric car test, their camera car was a diesel Skoda. It was able to drive as far as the farthest car and then make it more than halfway back to their starting point before needing to fill up.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, just as far as a thing, yeah, definitely diesel and gasoline cars
it also
are far
was
superior.
cheaper
Yeah.
to fuel than it was
absolutely.
to charge the electric cars at these public fast chargers.
Yeah, and needless to even say, fucking faster. Yeah, way faster to fill that thing up.
It went farther. It took less time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally, if I was absolutely worried about efficiency, I would just prefer a lightweight, simple, efficient gasoline engine. But again, I understand that hybrids are a better fit for most people. Just from a mechanical point of view and a maintenance point of view, I fucking hate them.
What do you hate about the hybrids, maintenance-wise?
It's more about the complexity. Perfect example of why I hate hybrids is the new M5.
See, now I'm very jaded. Every hybrid that I've ever worked on was a Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of issues. Toyota and Lexus.
I worked on Kia hybrids.
Yeah, the only
lots of issues.
Yeah, the only one that they had issues with had like as far as hybrids was like the HX, the Lexus HX. You see like the
I know what you're
ugly
talking about.
fucking 4-door
Yeah, I know what you're
compact.
talking about.
Yeah, but the issues were never with the hybrid system. They just were shit. They were just very low budget economy versions of Lexus cars. So they just had like weird, quirky, like sunroof leaks and shit.
On principle, I hate unnecessary complexity. It's why I'm not a fan of German cars.
Sure.
So to take two very, very different energy sources that develop their power, the usable power to move the car very differently, and try to make them play nice together takes all kinds of complicated engineering.
Right. So exactly, because like a Toyota Prius is not the same as the Porsche Typhoon, right? Like the
Taycan's all electric.
Taycan, yeah, exactly. But either way, like the intricacies of these systems, or like the LaFerrari, right? That's a hybrid.
That's
system.
a hybrid. McLaren P1, the Porsche 918 Spider.
Yeah. So like those do not look the same underneath. Like they're different. So, but to be able to maintenance them differently, So maybe just Toyota
like maintenance
needs
itself.
to just keep making
maintenance
hybrids.
itself, when it comes to hybrids, is usually lesser because the electric motor can take a lot of the strain and save the brakes and all that. But like when things go wrong, is when it becomes a pain in the dick.
Yeah.
And the cars themselves are just more complicated. They're heavier. I like simplicity.
Yeah. No,
you look at the again, and I know we've harped on this before, but the new M5.
Mm-hmm.
That thing weighs more than an F-150.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That weighs more than a Model S Plaid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not okay.
Yeah, no.
And it's because it's a twin-turbo V8, there's your gas system, and an electric car mushed together.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, and like, the other thing is, too, is that there is no getting away from fossil fuels. Because, like, you think about all, like, fine, like, you have an electric vehicle, but, like, how do you make those tires? How do you put the grease in the boots of those tie rods?
Mm-hmm.
Like how are you making the dye for the beautiful leather seats and that,
Yeah,
like how are you making the plastic?
Petroleum products are everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But like, again,
there's no getting away.
The other thing that like really burned me on hybrids.
So let's just keep fracking. Fuck it.
Now the other thing that burned me on hybrids though was the CRZ. Granted, that's a poor hybrid.
Yeah.
It was a poorly implemented hybrid, but
Yeah.
it kind of like, it is the extreme example of the issues that can be had with a hybrid.
Yeah.
So, like, if you had just put the Honda Fit engine in there, or if you were feeling real spicy, put the K20 in there from the Civic SI.
Sick. Yeah.
You'd probably get about the same fuel economy.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot funner to drive.
Yeah, dude. The K20 of that time era and called a CRX. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
But, like, realistically, they probably would have put a Fit engine in there.
Yeah. A 1.4.
And without the battery, it was a 1.5.
1.5.
And without the battery or the heavy electric motor,
yeah.
that'd been fine.
Kind of a good...
Because it would probably weigh less than the Fit.
Yeah, and it would get good gas mileage because
it
of that.
would get just as good gas mileage. The thing only got like 38 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
As a hybrid.
Yeah. I mean, 38's decent. It probably would have gotten closer to 30, but still, like, not worth all of the lithium ion.
It would have been
all of the other
with just a gas engine. It would have been lighter.
Yeah,
it would have been significantly lighter.
Yeah,
it would have handled better. It would have, just less wear and tear on the tires and brakes and shit.
Yeah,
and again, I'm pretty sure with the Fit engine, you'd probably be getting about the same fuel economy.
Mm-hmm.
But now you don't have to worry about this ticking time bomb of a battery that's going to degrade over time and need to be replaced.
Yeah. Well, now what would happen if like the battery just like didn't store anything and then the gasoline engine just had to run all the time? Would it just be?
You'd be down on power.
It would just be slow as dick.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought like when you hit the gas. Oh, I guess I don't know. Whatever. You're right. It's not. We did figure out one that works really well out of both of these in these hybrid systems. One of these things works really fucking well.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and the other one doesn't work so well.
The more efficient way to do it would be what's called a
fracking
series. Or no, a parallel hybrid.
It's fracking and putting gasoline in the bitch. 93. Let's go.
No, but the more efficient one is a parallel hybrid. Where is it parallel? There's parallel and series. The system where the gasoline engine doesn't actually send any direct power to the wheels. All it does is power a generator. So you use that to extend your range. You have a big battery, you charge the battery up, and when it starts getting low, the gas engine kicks on and starts charging. And I think it also helps like supply supplemental amperage when like under heavy load conditions. So if you're like flooring it up a hill.
Yeah.
Or just flooring it in general.
Yeah.
That's the most efficient way to make use of it. And that solves a lot of the problems of making, how electric makes all its torque here and gasoline doesn't there, and trying to get them all to like synchronize and spin at the same time. That takes that out of the equation. But from a driving perspective,
when the engine turns on in the hybrid, are we completely shutting off the electric capabilities?
No.
So like it's just electric all the time. And
so
then when
there are
multiple. It throws on
there are multiple systems. And I think Toyota has this weird like in between with some sort of strange CVT-ish. I think they call it an eCVT transmission, where it takes power from the gasoline, like torque from the gasoline engine, and applies it to the wheels, and it takes power from the electric motor and applies it to the wheels, and it takes some torque from the from the gasoline engine to charge the battery all at the same time. So Toyota's system is weird, but
unique.
Yeah, but it works. I'll give it to them.
Yeah,
they got it to work.
Yeah. I thought so.
The other two types are like the CRX would be an example of the worst type. They called it IMA
CRZ.
The CRZ.
Yeah.
IMA or integrated motor assist, where the electric motor and the gas engine are inextricably tied together.
Yeah.
So all the electric motor does is provide a torque boost, basically. It assists the gasoline motor, and it also uses that as like the starter, and it uses that as a generator for regen braking.
Yeah. So you just get a smaller
engine. Gas engine with a supplemental electric engine.
Yeah.
And when the battery's too low to do anything, that electric engine becomes a generator and starts charging that. But now you only have the power from the gasoline engine, and you have drag from the generator charging the battery.
Yeah.
The other system is where the gasoline engine just runs a generator that tops up a battery and also provides power to the motor.
Yeah.
From a driver's perspective, or not a driver's perspective, because that drives more like a pure electric car. From an enthusiast perspective, that system fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Because the engine's just doing shit based on like the electrical load, not necessarily on driving. It's disconnected, it's weird, it drives like an electric car but doesn't sound like one.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
And that's the generator like style, you can almost say. Yeah, gotcha. Well, to segue from that, Nissan might be closing.
Yeah.
What are all these Altima drivers going to do? They've been good customers for years, and they still got the shaft.
And Dodge just discontinued the Charger for the new electric one. That's going to be kind of expensive for a while. We'll have to see what the base price is for the gasoline Chargers. Oh, you can't get Chargers anymore. You can't get the old style Charger anymore. They're replacing it with the new
replacing it.
The Dodge Charger Daytona or whatever. Yeah, they're replacing it with the new Charger. No more V8s. You get the straight 6 or electric.
Straight 6 is interesting.
Yeah, they're Hurricane straight 6.
Have they had that for a while?
It's been out for a while. It's been in the Grand Wagoneer.
Oh, it's a bad one.
Is it? I don't know much about them.
I just know that people have been pulling bodies off Grand Wagoneers like left and right.
Because they want the engine?
Because they have to get to the engine. Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing people pulling the bodies off of those things, and it's a fucking nightmare. I'm so glad I don't work on cars anymore. Like, even trucks, which are like...
No, trucks fucking suck. Modern trucks are horrendous.
Yeah, but they're pretty much almost designed where, like, and by comparison, it's just so easy to pull the cab off. Even that, when you look at it and you're just standing next to it, you're like, oh my... You just start to sweat. You're like, good Lord. Like,
man,
so
your
much
internet's been not happy today.
Yeah, you're into its nuts at that point. Literally.
There we go.
Pause. Also, sorry. Ta-da!
Yeah, that's the new one.
I fuck with the hood.
Well, on the... is this one of the electric ones? I don't know. On the electric one, that's actually... It goes clean through the grill. It's for aerodynamics, but they put this whole thing on there to make it look more boxy, like a traditional Charger.
Yeah. I do like it.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen worse. Comes in 2-door and 4-door. I don't know if you noticed that.
Mhm.
But
I think I kind of fuck with it heavy.
Yeah.
I love the front.
I think they need a little more time, like just like the original Charger and the Challenger. Like
I think
I
just like the front. I see what you're saying now. I feel like the body line's not flowing right.
Well, this is I think a callback to the original Charger. It had that like dip down.
I'm not worried about that. I just feel like
The roof
like
line's a little funky though.
it should be a little bit more squatty. I feel like the doors are too long.
I'm just gonna wait for the wide body version, like
You
the
think they're gonna have a
Challenger.
Hellcat?
It's Dodge. They're gonna do something.
Yeah.
Whether they can pull it off as successfully as the OG Hellcat, that's another question. Or the Hellcat wide body, the Demon, all that.
Yeah.
I do love how Dodge pulled off the wide body for the Charger and the Challenger.
Mhm.
Like that was perfect.
Yeah.
A minimal, just fender flare,
Yeah.
and it looked
Oh, it
great.
goes a long way.
But
Fire shaft.
I do think they could have done a lot worse.
Sure. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, for the first attempt, you know, I mean, like if this is the electric car that we have to choose from, you know, per se, I could deal with that. I could live with that.
And they have a
Like
whole
these are your out, like this or a Tesla kind of thing.
They have a whole exhaust system for it too.
Yeah. See, and I got mixed feelings on it. Though the one I think it was the Camaro. What's the one we looked at? It might have been the Challenger.
No, it's this the Charger.
It was the Charger.
and it's not like I think they changed it. It's probably a speaker system now, but when they had the concept, they were using some sort of acoustic resonance system that took noise from the motor itself and
amplified it.
and tuned that sound acoustically, not electronically. So it was as close as you were going to get to a genuine like electric car exhaust system that wasn't just straight up a speaker. And I thought it was interesting.
Dude, if they're gonna do that, I want tailpipes. I'm just saying, I want tailpipes, and like as a matter of fact, I want speakers in the tailpipes. I mean, why not? That's how you would do it, right? I mean, you'd put like one in the front by the engine, maybe
That made a certain noise,
Yeah.
intake noise, and a different one.
or even just one that would like replicate like noise from a header. Like you put headers on something. There's like my engine is loud, just like you just hear it in the front now, as opposed to like if you remove a resonator, you're like inside the cabin is just so much louder now.
So you want strategically place speakers to recreate the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're gonna do it, and you want to charge me $50,000 for a 4-door piece of shit, then just make it sound cool. An electric piece of shit. How much is this $5,000 car?
I have no idea. I don't know if they released pricing on it yet.
No,
I don't know if they did. But yeah, they're going to be replacing the Charger with that. So to tie it back to what we were talking about, I don't know if the Nissan drivers are going to be able to afford this brand new car.
Well, that's why I'm wondering. To be fair, it was a decent segue.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because and here's the other thing too, man. Like, I actually do really thoroughly enjoy the Altima. I think the Altima looks good. It's a good looking car. It has unfortunate ties to like the air quotes Altima driver, and like sorry if you're out there.
Big Altima energy.
Yeah, big Altima energy is a real thing, and it's also a real thing that like statistically speaking, a lot of them are in body shops.
Watch what you're saying.
A lot of them are in body shops. Like they get crashed up.
I'm not seeing any pricing on their website.
So if Altimas are getting crashed up, you got to have a cheap car. And in that case, they've also depreciated in price as well. So what do we do? How do we fill the void of the Altima?
Kelly Blue Book says it's going to start around
40.
45,000.
Around 45,000? Holy shit! I can't afford it.
Not with that attitude.
I'll trade my Altima in.
Just take a.
We're giving an extra $10,000 down if you trade in an Altima. That could be a good sales tactic. Just get the Altimas out now.
They do that though.
Yeah.
If you buy like I was it there was some GM dealer. It was like, if you own a non-GM car, you can get $5,000 trade-in value plus trade-in value.
Yeah. They're just trying to get like other cars off the road and just get their cars on the road.
Anyway, but so to tie back into what we originally tanged off from, Nissan's got like 12 to 14 months to live if they can't raise capital.
Yeah.
And then the CEO of Stellantis, and I forget if they're tied into Nissan because Stellantis is some big conglomerate, just resigned.
Interesting. Why is that? But that's separate. Stellantis is just Dodge, right?
No.
Chrysler and Nissan?
I don't remember. They have a lot of stuff under their banner.
Fiat.
And the French PSA group. Because I know that Nissan has ties to like Renault, and I didn't know if like that kind of leaned over. Okay, Abarth, Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Citroen, Dodge, DS, Fiat, Jeep, Lancia, Maserati, Opel, Peugeot, Ram Trucks, and Vauxhall. So no, it has nothing to do with that.
So now, can you go to Nissan? I'd like to see what the Nissan lineup is. Like
Nissan also had various concerns about the impact of the proposal on its alliance with Renault. Renault. Yeah, Renault's the one company not tied into Stellantis, actually. The one French company.
Yeah.
Oh, Nissan's with Mitsubishi and Renault.
Yeah, so I'm interested in the current Nissan lineup. I'd like to know.
It's more varied than Chrysler's lineup, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, and so, but it seems to be that cars, as a manufacturer, they're just not doing as well. There's like no one has enough cash anymore to just go out and buy cars, and there's just not a lot of that happening these days because again, like the economy is shit. I don't care what anybody says. We're in a terrible spot, so you have to reduce your inventory to just a couple little things that kind of sell.
Or just a bunch of crossovers because people do that. People buy that for some reason.
Yeah, but again, like you don't even need a bunch. Just make a crossover. I mean, I get it. Like even Ford has a few different SUVs. People are big on SUVs these days, but which I mean, dude, it does make sense. You get something like kind of small, like the Kick, or Pathfinder's a little bit big. But
the Rogue and the Kicks.
Yeah, Rogue is the perfect example of where it's like, it can drive like a car, but you have a hatch. You have this like big trunk, So
okay, here's how it works.
My mom has a CRV, right?
Here's how this works. All right,
those are great.
This is a Taltima. This is a Nissan Taltima.
Oh, okay. I pick up what you're going.
This is a
Here, let me go back.
Well, I can't keep up the bit because I don't know how to max.
Nope,
yeah, that's a Nissan Taltima.
Okay.
The fuck is a tall Sentra? That's a tall Sentra.
Tentra?
Oh yeah, Tentra. That's bigger, and that's a Maxima, right there.
There you go.
It's a tall Maxima.
T-Max.
I thought this is electric. That's why it's its own model.
So we'll leave it out.
This is, well, it's a Pathfinder.
Medium Ultima.
No, that's bigger than like a Maxima, and then the Armada is like the big bitch.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they have all of these. You had sedans where you had like compact, mid-size, and full-size. You've got compact SUV thing, mid-size SUV thing, full-size SUV thing, and then you have...
Yeah, like nobody has cars anymore. We all just
then you have the
SUVs.
Yeah, then you have the SUV size SUV, and then the full-size for an SUV.
Yeah.
And you got cars. They've got the Altima, Sentra, Versa, Leaf, which is electric.
Yeah, see, it's too much. They need an Armada, and they need
these
all
fit. Actually, you know what? The Altima's moved into where the Maxima used to be because they stopped making the Maxima. The Sentra has become the new Altima.
Yeah.
And the Versa's the new Sentra.
Yeah.
And then the Leaf is a electric hatchback.
Yeah. So my opinion is that they need the Leaf and they need the Sentra, and then now they're done. That's it.
Not
and then
the
they
Altima?
No.
That's their number one bread and butter.
I get it. I know, and like the Ultima people are gonna hate me for that. I'm not sticking up for their Ultima.
And then they've got the Z and the GTR.
Yeah,
and then they've got their trucks, the Titan and the Frontier.
Yeah, I thought they were done with the Frontier.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's right there. Yep, that's it. That's a Frontier.
That's a Frontier starting at $32,000. That's about $10,000 more than I want it to be.
I would agree. Yeah, so I don't know. I think like with my thing, like if Nissan were to die right now, that just like seems absurd because, like, I think keep the truck, keep the 2 trucks, keep the two cars, like the 2 sports cars, obviously. Yas.
And then axe everything else.
Yeah, and then look, maybe you're right. Maybe it's like the Ultima, but you would think that it needs an Ultima and then like the Leaf.
Yeah.
Like a full
the
size.
Ultima still sells well enough to justify its existence, I think.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a brand new Sentra or a Versa?
I just saw a Sentra because I do like the Sentra as well. It's a good looking car.
But it doesn't sell well.
I don't know how, man. Got that black roof. I dig it.
It's okay.
I fuck with it.
It's not offensive. But no, like they could cut the Versa, they could cut the Sentra.
Yeah.
They've got the Leaf. Leave the Ultima.
Yeah.
Leave all of these because
I know that like,
these sell like hotcakes. Maybe not the Armada, but
yeah.
And then I would say don't touch these just because you need a Halo car. If you don't have a Halo car, your brand loses its soul. It falls to irrelevance. See Mitsubishi.
Yep. Which is a sister company.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. The electric cars, I guess they can stay maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they're selling. I haven't seen many areas.
Yeah. But I would say like they definitely need to just trim the fucking fat, man. It's such a shame.
Well, Nissan's gone now. I closed the tab.
That's fine. I was done with it. That's all I wanted to bring up. Just thought that was kind of weird. I don't know what else I had going on here.
We were still... I didn't like fully rant on the issues we had with the Jaguar. We kind of got distracted.
Oh, yeah.
So, one of your favorite complaints and one that I saw that dude in blue on YouTube make a complaint about, and
Can I pee
something
real quick?
that I agree.
I'm sorry. I gotta pee.
1 second.
Fuck.
The back end of the car looks like an HVAC vent.
Yes. And we'll be back after these messages. So where we left off, Jaguar.
Yeah.
And HVAC grills. So this picture here, I guess that's as far as it zooms, eh? But the blue car, great picture of the rear grill. Oh, look at that. Da-da-da. So awful. Bad.
Yeah, it looks like an HVAC vent.
Yeah.
This car suffers from what a lot of modern cars seem to suffer from. We were talking about this before, and that's this really tall belt line from the basically from the bottom of the car to the window. It's just chunky, and while on its own it might not look good, I mean this angle makes this thing look freaking long, which it's got good presence. That looks like that's the shape of a high-dollar luxury car, but
Sure.
I don't know, to me it just seems half-baked, like they forgot some details.
Yeah.
And again, that also plays with how they've displayed it here, because the pictures that we saw of it, like, just taken off of a phone, make it look real and make it look a lot more, just that real.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is when you put it next to the original E-Type that it's obviously playing, a homage to, you can just see the problem.
Yeah.
It's so much chunkier.
Yeah.
And it's a problem a lot of modern cars have. If you look at the outgoing Dodge Challenger versus an original Challenger, like the old Challenger, I think the outgoing modern Challenger, I think was a really good looking car. And out of all the pony cars, especially around like 2010 when the Camaro came back, the Mustang was redesigned, and the Challenger came out, that era. The Challenger was the most true to the original in terms of styling. But then you park it next to an original Challenger and you see exactly how much fat it's gained.
Yeah.
Since then.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the Nissan Z is one of those ones. Speaking of Nissans, we just had it up. Is a good example of like, I think they did a pretty good job. They actually made it like more sporty than it actually was before, aesthetically.
Yeah, I think that it looks better than the 370 and the 350. Mm-hmm. But again, you park it next to a 240Z.
Yeah, it's smaller. I mean, like the old one is smaller, you know, but doesn't that all that attribute to like the cafe standards? Like nothing can be small anymore. Everything has to be big and has to be like fit, and airbags and stuff all has to get packed into cars.
I think a lot of it is aerodynamics as well. So if you here put up the picture of that, you know, modern cars, the front comes all the way to the ground. You can't do that, or you can't not do that now because you don't want air going under the car. You want this thing to be as slippery as possible, and air going under the car, there's componentry under there that's going to cause turbulence. On top of that, handling characteristics kind of get negatively affected. If you get too much air under the car starts generating lift at high speeds and gets squirrely. Yeah, that's why race cars are like on the ground with splitters and all that. But they do that by getting the car physically as low to the ground as possible, not just extending the bodywork straight down. Like if I had taken this car and just drew a straight line down to here to there, it'd be hideous. And then just continued that line all the way across and just made the car fat.
Yeah.
The other thing is look at the angle of the windshield on an old car versus a modern car.
Yeah.
It gets rid of that like clear delineation between like the cabin area and the rest of it. Now it all just kind of blends together into an amorphous blob. There are things that stop us from being able to like replicate the styles of older cars, but
I think that most people like the sleekness of cars today anyhow.
And I think they're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, again, we were talking about this before we started recording. Like, it's almost a universally accepted like fact that old cars looked better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's going to be people who... I'm not saying new cars don't look good, and there's going to be people who like new cars more than old cars. But on the face of it, like, if you ask people, like, what's an iconic, just beautiful car? They're going to say something from, like, the 60s, the 70s.
Yeah.
Even the 80s.
Yeah. And... I'm trying to think of, like, good examples, because I was going to say, like new cars today... like in the realm, because like I don't that Jag was not an attainable car back in the day, correct? Was that like something that was like you wouldn't have compared that to like,
well, I'll put it to
like
you.
a Ferrari 240.
I'll put it to you this way: when a lot of these cars came out back in the day, there were like cars that were for the rich, but I feel like the gap for the upper crest of cars, like.
Well, you know what I'm saying,
what's
right?
the most simple way to put this?
You know the Ferrari...
There were no, like, equivalent of, like, a $2 million Bugatti back in the day. Like, the upper level just wasn't as high as it is nowadays.
You sure? I feel like it was there.
I don't think that.
I think Bugattis were around and they were unattainable.
There were cars that
what I'm trying to get at is that, like, this would not have been... like on everyone's radar to be like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I will get it. Maybe I won't. Like nobody was in between. They were like, God, I wish I could make enough money to make that kind of car, to be able to drive that kind of car. Because like what I'm attributing that to is that like I'm trying to figure out like today what is like you said, like what is a beautiful car. That,
I think
like,
Aston Martin still makes beautiful cars.
Sure. But again, right. But there's an unattainable thing.
Here you go.
Ferrari makes good
1961,
cars.
The E-Type Roadster was 2,097 pounds, and the Coupe was 2,196 pounds. Adjusted for inflation, that's about 44,000 pounds in today's money, which would be, I don't know, what's that, like $60,000? Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. About.
Basically, not crazy.
So, like a Nissan Z. So, like, totally, that's attainable for somebody who makes...
The E-Type was attainable.
Yeah, for, like, the traditional, even though the middle class is maybe a little bit skewed these days. the range is pretty big. But yeah, that's a middle-class person car.
Yeah, $56,000.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good guess. Nice. Yeah, so it was attainable. So for cars that were attainable, and that thing being a work of fucking art, like
still like agreed upon to be one of the most beautiful cars ever made.
Yeah, I would say the Nissan Z is like our flagship for that today.
And it's not held in nearly high as regard.
I mean, it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, and there were
I like it.
There were a lot of beholders who found the E-Type like drop dead. This is like
Well, what's the Z missing?
the elegance, and also the brand prestige.
Yeah, it's the brand.
But it's also
Nobody
the
cares
elegance.
about the Nissan thing.
No, because the
Same thing with
240Z is
Lexus. Same with
iconic.
the Lexus LFA, like one of the most greatest pieces of machinery that's ever been created. And nobody wanted to spend that much money on a Lexus. Like, you just didn't. If you're spending that money, like, you're going to buy the car that everybody wanted to see. You know? Even though it's beautiful, even though it's great, even though it's fast, even though it's cool. Like, it's a Lexus.
Well, okay,
Like-
let's rework your little your premises there.
Sure.
The closest cars that I can think of that reach that like level of universally agreed to be amongst the most beautiful in the world, it's probably like Aston Martins.
Sure. But again, like, the same thing, that they're not attainable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, so I was trying to find out what is, and you were like, yeah, that's the point. It's not. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want a genuinely beautiful, not good looking, not sporty and cool looking, but I mean just like drop dead gorgeous
Yeah.
car, you're paying out the ass.
Well, that's why, and that's a fair point that you brought up Aston Martin, because back in the day, Aston
They were
Martin
also gorgeous.
was the parent company of Jaguar, and Jaguar was selling like the poor man's DB7, you know. And
Was it the DB5? Yeah, the DB5 from the 60s.
yeah,
Also, drop dead gorgeous car.
yeah, and then so I think I really hope I'm not getting this wrong, but I believe it's the Ferrari 240, right? Which is like that prestigious
250.
like, or is it a 250? Yeah, I think you're right. It's a 250. Yeah, 250 GTO. And the California was the convertible, which I'm a huge fan of. That's not the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of looks very, very similar to the E-Type. That's pretty close. That's not
I mean,
quite
that's the race version.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like one of the most valuable Ferraris ever.
Yeah. So
Even though they lost to the Shelby Daytona Coupe.
Yeah. But that's not what I'm thinking of. This is like a little bit before. Maybe it is the California. I don't think it was.
California's been used several times as a name.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, this is it.
The California.
But it still says 250 GT California Spider, all this. Yeah. But yeah, that was the car that like I attribute. But yeah, the DB5, and then that Jag, like these were all in that same class of just being amazing, but this one was just unattainable.
Actually, how much were these?
And that's true too. Like maybe you're right. Maybe they weren't, but a Ferrari. That is kind of crazy. Even like Ferrari had huge standards back in the day, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. But
like
again,
customer,
I
their
think
customer base, they would only sell Ferraris to certain people, right? You can only.
I don't think they were doing that back then.
No.
Why can't I find the original price of that? I can. Apparently, they're selling for like $17,000. That can't be right either.
That can't be right.
Well, 17,000. Oh, 17 million. There we go. Yeah, 17 million. But what was their original price?
No, there you go. Oh, that's going to be the new
modern one.
Yeah, that's going to be your issue, is that you're going to have to sift through all the new ones as well. But
man, I wish I knew how much they cost back in the day. But again, I don't think they were the equivalent of $17 million back in the day. I think they've appreciated significantly.
oh, definitely. Yeah,
even
yeah.
adjusting for
Sure, I mean the
inflation.
Camaro, the '69 Camaro is the same way.
Well, I'm talking
know?
about even like adjusting for inflation. I don't think they were worth millions of dollars
Mm-hmm.
equivalent.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like a '69 Camaro back in the day was like not that expensive. And
Yeah.
like today it would be $20,000.
That's a rotted out one, brother.
Yeah. No. I'm saying like for the same amount of price you would buy one in '69 today, that same price would be $20,000. I'm not saying
adjusted for inflation.
Adjusted for inflation. I'm not saying it's worth $20,000.
Yeah.
I mean, like the fucking maybe the frame's $20,000. A good frame's $20,000. 1669.
Man, I am on fire. Why? $72,000.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that it was like $5,000 or like $10,000.
It wasn't.
It was like nothing.
The top of the line was $7,200 in '69.
Yeah,
that was the top of the line. That's like the creme de la creme.
Yeah, the SS,
the ZL1.
ZL1. Okay.
So inflation calculator. Let's see where that puts us.
The sad
now.
calculator.
Yeah,
that's what it should be. The depression calculator.
The depression calculator. So we go to 69 to 2024. $7,200.
They should have like better help ads on here.
$63,000.
Therapy ads.
$63,000 is for the top line. Now, how much was the last the ZL1? Actually, let's compare ZL1 to ZL1.
Sure. I bet you it's 85.
78.
78. That's pretty close.
So yeah, it's gone up.
Plus tags, put your dealer markup on it. It's 85.
Yeah,
I may have looked at them.
Depending on trim with options and some models costing up to 81. So yeah, the price has gone up. Like for like,
that's not too bad.
Top line, that one's not terrible.
Yeah, that's not bad. Does make me feel a little bit better.
That's more than that E-Type.
Yeah. Now, if only our wages were
commiserate with that,
matching inflation, and we would all be fucking driving around in Camaros. That would be sick. Why don't these people want this for us?
Yeah.
Well, I have one last fun topic that we can get into. I mean, we did a long podcast. We got a little bit to trim from our pee break, but one last thing. So, have you heard the Call of Duty has an AI chat monitoring where you're not allowed to say certain words, and they'll ban you from the game from saying like profanity.
Well,
mostly.
I mean, that's been around for a while. Like
I did not. I mean, I haven't been playing video games for quite some time,
brother. When we were playing like Black Ops,
yeah.
They had sensors for like the clan tags and shit.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that in Black Ops. I specifically remember being able to like chat nasty words to people.
Well,
I would go off into the corner and like find somebody's gamer tag.
Oh wait, you're talking about like voice chat.
Yeah,
okay, no, that's new.
Yeah. So like you're in the game and you call somebody a name, boop boop, and they're like you're banned for 2 weeks, and that's it. And like they'll tell you like because you said this word.
Well, at least they're not releasing all of the Call of Duty lobby chats.
I know, dude.
So many people.
Yeah, some people are going down. Gonna crush people with this. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like, you know, I have voiced my opinion where like I think that you know, bad things come from bullying sometimes. And the majority of the time, like you just walk away a better man, better woman. You know,
like
you gain a thicker skin.
Like everything, you know, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
You don't want to bully someone to the point where they kill themselves, but you know, give people a reason to maybe not wear the butt plug tail in public.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, no, that reminds me. I sent you something on Instagram, and you said what? It was instead of normalizing everything, why not try feeling some fucking shame? And
yeah,
like,
I think the video itself did a poor job at portraying that. I don't know. Like it also didn't seem like that big of a deal to me. I'm like, yeah, why not? But that's probably because I'm normal.
That was the point it was making.
Yeah.
Instead of normalizing everything,
Yeah.
You know, to grab that fucking really extreme example, instead of normalizing minor attracted persons,
Yeah.
feel some fucking shame.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's another one where it's like it doesn't like we can't just let everybody think whatever they want, because when it comes to like that thing, it's like we can't just endorse that. Well, that's how they feel. It's like they're wrong. Like somebody's got to say it. Like I don't know. I mean, and also like I would get it if it was like some kind of like taboo idea, but it's like no, man. Like we have like an age of like 18 years old, and like now you're an adult. Like and arguments have said that like you're not fully like scientifically not fully formed till like 25. So like maybe
if not later. Actually,
maybe
I'd read something that was like the only reason we agreed on 25 is because that's just when they stopped studying it.
Yeah.
Like your brain continues to develop throughout your entire life.
And that makes sense. But like I think the argument was that like not maybe that is what it is. But at least like towards the development of being able to have logical reasoning, you know?
Well developed logical reasoning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, we all know 21-year-olds who make stupid decisions. We were all 21-year-olds who made stupid fucking decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was gonna say like 21 probably is closer to being an adult, but it's like, man, it really is like 25. You hit 25 and it's like you can now make really good decent decisions.
Yeah, 25 is when you start realizing like, man, I did some stupid shit.
Yeah, but regardless, with all that being considered, like 18 is the goddamn minimum, you know? Like you're a baby.
Okay, you should learn how to behave in public by 18.
Yes. Yeah. But I guess like to go back to the minor attracted persons, the pedophiles out there, it seems to be a very, very, very good rule that has proven to work very well, that 18 is the minimum for those kind of things. Like you're a child underneath of that.
Yeah,
so, like,
and by the time you hit 18, like you should know what's acceptable.
Yeah, and because that's one of my points. Like it's not it's not something that hasn't worked. That works, and if anything, it should go up.
And like honestly, that's learning how to behave in society is something that you should start learning well before 18.
Yeah,
like. What was that one viral fucking thing where they're like, oh, you know, schools are putting litter boxes in the bathroom for students who identify as cats to use?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we shouldn't be normalizing that. We shouldn't be enabling that. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, biologically, just because, like, no, you're a human being. We got to stop. I
don't care what you identify as. Use the fucking toilet.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is something you should have figured out by, like, 3 or 4 at the latest.
Yeah, we're a civilized race of human beings that can be clean and civil, proper.
Like I'm not
hold the line.
I'm not advocating for 100% conformity because individuality is important, and you don't want to live your entire public-facing life hiding, the real you. That fucking sucks if you have to do that.
But it's not a wolf.
But some things are better left private.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Well, here's another example.
It's just, I don't know. I just feel like I don't think anybody was a wolf in like the 60s.
That's it. I mean, you're fixating on like one aspect of it, but I'm just talking about like in general.
I know.
Some things are left behind closed doors, and your public-facing you should be a presentable, functional member of society. Yeah,
I agree, like, but I also am like, why do you need to hide the fact that you think that you're a wolf and you're not?
Honestly, I don't give a shit what you do behind fucking closed doors. If you want to shit in a litter box in your own home, cool. I'm not coming over.
I mean, I kind of care. I care because, like, I don't know. You see China doing fucking backflips and shit in their army. It's like their students and shit. China's doing crazy shit with their young adults. Like, they're fucking dialed in human beings. And we're trying to shit in litter boxes at like 12.
Well,
Like,
that's
get it together, man.
That's a side effect of being in a society where you don't have to worry about shit.
I guess it's just a luxury I have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, it has like no effect on me, and like I truly don't care. But like it does.
But
I mean, if that was
again-
my child, it would really bother me. Like, can you imagine? Like, you imagine having a baby, and then, but in actuality, you got a cat. That's wild.
Well, guess what?
That's wild.
You want to start doing that shit? I'm feeding you cat food.
Damn. And you're an outdoor cat. Gone.
Yep.
Yeah. Outdoor cat. Feral cat.
All right, there you go. Catch your dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll remember to feed you.
Yeah. And then your kid's just on bath salts and just never comes back.
They were a lost cause.
Damn.
No,
Dude,
but-
what did I just watched something. I sent it to you today. It was just some comedian talking about like kids' toys, like Red Ryder BB guns being not safe, and then like
I don't
there's like
think I
these
watched
little
that
like
yet.
oven, or like these like little like ice skating things. They're like little like a toy for kids that has little pieces. Well, like so this kid, he's like, all right, give me a kid, and then kid like walks onto the stage and he has a BB gun, like shoots it at him, and kid ducks. He's like, good kid, you're done. It's like, see, if he's too dumb to duck, let him go. And brings in another kid and then like hands him a little like tiny piece from this toy. He's like, here, swallow this. She goes, no. I'm like, good kid. Go, get out of here. I'm like, that's a good kid. If they swallow it, let him go. And then like there's another kid who like has an oven. He's like, this oven, 250 degrees Celsius. That's hot. Kid, put your hand in the oven. He puts his hand in the oven. He's like, psh, this guy's like, see, he won't do that again. And if he does, let him go. He's like, you know.
Oh, I think it was Fluff who told me about that. Like as a kid, you know, I think his kitchen had like one of those. It was either the stove or it was the cigarette lighter in a car.
Yeah.
That glows red.
Yeah.
I think it was the stove though, one of those like electric stoves that turn red.
Yeah,
and he kept
yeah.
wanting to touch it. His mom was like, "No, you're gonna burn yourself. No, you're gonna burn." After like the 5th time, she's like, "Fine."
Touch it. Yeah.
He learned his lesson.
Yeah. Learn your lesson that way.
Didn't touch it after that.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, so some things do need to be learned the hard way, and then there's some things where it's like, you know what, if you're that dumb, you know, because like what we always made that argument about like airbags and seatbelts have changed natural selection forever, and we've been coddling idiots for far too long, and these people should have died off years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's right.
I'm just
But
saying
I
that
am
I'm
saying
doing,
that that's true.
I'm doing my part. I drive a 62 Buick. If I crash, I'm dead.
Yeah. So stakes are high, and maybe that's what the world needs. But I mean, obviously, you know, we don't want people to die. But
This is a joke.
But clearly, we have.
This is hyperbole.
Yeah. Because I mean, you know, someone else is going to make the same cynical observation of like hospitals, medicines, and vaccines, that those have all clearly saved lives and progressed the
We're
world.
messing with the natural order.
Yeah, like, did we mess with the natural order because we solved the measles, it's like, or smallpox? It's like, yeah, that was good, but like, they're like, well, what about airbags? We're joking.
It's hyperbole.
Yeah, joking. Having a good time.
But I do think some level of bullying is almost necessary.
I think it is. And then, like, you know, I think that you got to be told no, because like the world's going to tell you no.
Don't do that. That's
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah, and you know, and like the world is. You got to kind of like do some things in life that prepare you for the world.
And
you know?
again,
People being
I'm
mean
not
to you or
advocating for
disagreeing.
like 100% conformity, because
Yeah.
that's fucking terrible. Like we don't need to be China. We don't need to be.
I think we got to be right in the middle.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we
We're always in
need
the
to
middle.
we need to stop normalizing some things.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need the arts program. Like, you're against the whole Jaguar change. I think we need things like the Jaguar, because we don't need conformity to every car to like be what Adrian likes. You know? I
every
think
car
we
needs
do
to be what
need-
Adrian likes. The world would be a better place.
Yes, and now all of a sudden, you flip the script. You're like, conformity. You're like, but no, when it comes to cars, stop putting them shitty. Yeah, so I mean, I think that, you know, Jag is leveling.
Jag can do what they
is
want.
making the balance.
They can do what they want, and I'm allowed to hate it.
Yeah, You are. And I'm allowed to hate the fact
And
that
I'm
people
also
are
allowed
shitting in
to
litter boxes.
voice my opinion on that
Yeah.
to their face.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is shitty.
Yeah. And I think that people shitting in litter boxes
I think you're fucking weird.
is weird. Yeah.
And you should feel bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah. They should feel bad. They should be bullied. Bullied to submission.
Bullied to shitting in the toilet like a normal human being.
Yeah. Put it in the bowl.
You know, if you want to make fun of someone because of like physical characteristics that they can't change, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
If
That's
you
not
want to
cool.
make fun of someone for being a fucking weirdo, that's kind of necessary to have a cohesive society.
Yeah. Yeah. The checks and balances. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So, well, you know, it's been a fun year, but yeah, that's probably going to cancel us. So,
Dude, no way. I hope so. I hope so. I did. I posted a reel with music on it by accident. 'Cause I reposted what we put on Instagram for the last podcast.
oh yeah,
And I don't know if that was technically a strike, but it was like, hey, we see content here. But I deleted it. Like, I got a
I don't
notification
fucking know.
and I deleted it. So like, hopefully it's not a strike, but there's a copyright. So we're gonna get copyrighted before we even
getting
get popular.
shadow banned.
before we even get to a point where they can like try to tear us down. We're just gonna have copyright strikes. We have to restart. Yeah, it is silly though, and I'm like, I think with Spotify you're allowed to do music because Spotify has music.
I don't know how it works. It's
Yeah.
complicated. I hate it.
Yeah, I think Spotify plays ball. So at the very least, I might put everything back on Spotify. But
Yeah, why not?
yeah. So Call of Duty, no more bullying. Or you get
Bring back bullying.
You get the ban. I know. I feel like it's good. A little bit's good. Yeah. I don't know. Well, that was all I had. I feel like that's it.
Well, I mean, we've been
We've,
going for almost 4 hours. We should just end it.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up. Cool, man. This is fun. Bye.